being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own hidden messages.
Special question. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. We want you to smoke the natural herb. Some call it marijuana, some call it sensimilla, some call it lamb's bread, and some people call it ganja.
Welcome to another edition of the Adam Dunn Show. I'm your host, Adam Dunn, and Mitch is not here, so we have Junior Mitch.
Yeah, Junior Mint?
Mitch.
Is that what you just
Junior
call
Mitch.
me? Like,
Junior Mitch.
Like Mint Berry Crunch?
No, Junior Mitch.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
Associate producer is producing the show today, and
Junior
I'm actually
Mitch.
going to be on the show today. I actually put the whole show together today.
Indeed, you did.
I did, last minute, as of yesterday.
I'm very happy that you did, because I was thinking, fuck am I going to do this
What am I
week?
gonna
And then
do?
you had it all figured out.
Got it all figured out. We got a great show coming up for you guys today. So we have.
Why don't you announce the show since you put it all together?
Well, as the title says, it is Solvent-free Fridays. So we're gonna talk a little bit about solvent-free, some solventless with our friend Medicated.
You better say it right.
So he's gonna get it on for
I'll fucking smack
his
you.
solventless. I'm not allowed to say solvent. So I mean, I have to say solvent-free unless I'm referring to him. So
Okay, well, that's good.
solventless. With
I think
Medicated.
today you're allowed to say it.
And then we'll do some solventless. We'll also have Frenchy Cannoli on the show
You already
later.
said it. You already said it.
And we're going to be plugging a little special event that we'll keep you teased on, I guess, until later on. But at the end of the
throw it out
show,
there. Just whip it out.
when Frenchie's on, we are going to be teasing
I'm
a very special
self-conscious
event.
of this now with the nothing below.
With
and
nothing there.
now
You
I'm
can
like,
see your legs.
I get all. Cause I get crazy legs.
Yeah.
I go like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I can
now
move the
can't-
camera closer.
No, it's
I think it looks okay.
It's fine.
It's fine.
I mean, if it's closer, it would be nice to not see the back of the TV. That would be cool.
The back of that TV?
That
Yeah,
TV.
that'll
I don't
be-
like to see the back of
Let's
the
see what we
TV.
can
I
do
think you
here.
can cut that out. That would be dope. So we got the kid has put the show together. KTI came rolling in, beers in hand, keeping it real, pissing off a couple of our people. Some people don't like it because we get drunk, but we're not going to get drunk today because I have to drive home. So
we got to make
it'll
grow
just-
stones.
and we have to make grow stones. That's really our.
We got to
that's-
support sponsors is the big issue.
What's that now? You did not do anything except for you still see the. You still see.
terrible.
It looks worse, way worse. Why is the camera even there? Why doesn't it? Why don't you put it? What happened to the up top? See?
The top's too high. See everything.
All right, let's get the camera angle right. You are an Emmy Award-winning camera angle guy too, right? That's officially your title. This is nice and tight, but then what happens with our guests and?
You see the guests?
Okay. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, you just don't see you, which is awesome. This is actually the best angle I've ever seen, dude. You're cut out just the way you're supposed to be. This show you're actually you got to fill in for Mitch. Normally though, I appreciate it when you're just like
And that's gonna be the new standard. I'm gonna have my own control booth.
because you're gonna be in the control booth.
out of sight, out of mind.
It's gonna be awesome. But no, it's gonna be like you're gonna have real control.
Yeah.
Camera angles are gonna be flipping and flopping.
Yep.
Details.
I don't like that it's like.
There's always something. If you're a real camera guy, you're gonna hate everything until the show's over, and then you're gonna finally have it right.
That's right. That'll
Cool.
do.
I can get
Yeah,
more.
Bob in the
I can get
back.
more or less fidgety legged.
Yeah, because they
And
can't
we're a
really
little
see your
closer.
legs as much anymore. So
Yeah.
do you want to plug
Thanks.
that?
Thanks for that. Thanks for that. So, how was your week? Let's go through the normal protocol.
Busy, man. Busy. We've been
Did you notice that it's
Mercury
spring all?
retrograde.
Well, that's two more. How many more days we got? One more.
I think a couple. Yeah, maybe this.
Two
is the
more
last one.
days. 2 more days.
Couple exactly.
Wow.
But this is strange because this is the first time Mercury retrograde has worked out in my favor. I mean, we have.
It worked out
recently-
in Cece's favor also.
Really?
Tell me how it worked out in your favor.
We went recreational, so we're working for the past 2 weeks now with Endocanna and better concentrates. So we've just been pumping out the rec orders, man. So it's it was the Mercury and retrograde kind of didn't take effect.
Didn't take effect, so it didn't
No.
actually go in your favor because it was just like it didn't
matter.
It didn't happen. It
Right.
wasn't there.
Right. So I
Okay.
guess I can't.
Wasn't like a reverse.
No.
See,
no.
I had a good reverse. Was Cece was booking tickets because she's going to Sweden with Nick,
Okay.
and I don't know why. I told her in the beginning. The first thing I said to her was like, check out Icelandic Air because it's sick because you
Right.
get to go to Iceland, and if you can go get off the plane and take a day of it, which is what you can do free,
You're gonna have a layover and,
and
stuff.
then
I'm sure.
and then you
anyway.
get back on. Yeah, well, that's the way they set their tickets up. So like, if you tell them ahead of the game, like, hey, I want to actually stay a day, and they're like, cool, it's free, actually, the easy transport and all that stuff. So anyway, all of a sudden she's like trying to get a flight on United because it was cheaper, blah blah blah, and booked the ticket. They fucking took the money, everything, you know, the classic.
Mm-hmm.
And then, boom, message. You didn't get the ticket, but the money didn't go back in the account. So it was one of those like, are you kidding me? Like, you know, so she was all tripping out. In the end, she worked it all out. She got a ticket on Icelandic Air. Worked out to be cheaper even still. Plus, now she gets the layover, and then Nick and her are going to go to the lava, check out the lava and all that cool shit. So, you know,
Sweet.
Way better than flying United. I was like, why would you fly in United? That's fucking the crap. You're going to have some old lady try to fucking charge you money for an international flight to get a drink or something stupid.
Or a bag of Chex Mix.
Fuck that. Yep. So anyway, it worked in her favor because they fucked her over, and she was all Mercury retrograde. I told you, you know, it was one of those deals. So
right. Well, that's good. That was
awesome.
It wasn't. She still had to pay for it.
Right, like but the money came back in the account in time that she could actually she called everybody and was all pissed off. Like she called the bank 5 times, and they're like, yeah, they definitely tried, and then it was like at a certain point managed to get it through to the right people, get the money back in the account. So there you go. Good. Mercury retrograde can be beaten.
What about you, Kyle?
Did you get
KTI?
Mercury retrograde?
Do you have any Mercury retrograde stories?
No.
Wow.
Nothing fun happened, or
did you bring the security system with you? No.
We got another week before we get that.
Oh, it's still operating?
Set up. No, yeah, it's still operating, still doing its job.
Security system.
Stuff.
Yeah, KTI is going to come through with some crazy.
We got some cams.
Nice. For what? For the
like
area.
so high, yeah.
Oh, for so high.
The gallery. You forgot all about that? You forgot about this?
Well, I mean,
thing.
You have so many places in your life that would require cameras.
Oh, really? And I have none. That's great.
And you don't have enough? No, you have some. You just don't have enough.
Yeah. Well, I have the one.
The Hood Lab used to be covered in cameras. You used to be able to see everything that was going on there.
Oh, yeah.
Every angle. You could.
Oh, yeah. I have it, and I have it all in video, too. I have it all saved up on this giant server.
It's pretty funny. We just need to do a time lapse of like 4 years of the lab. Just people coming and going. See how many. I bet you we can total up like hours of Vinny on camera. Like hours on hours on just of him, like, in the smoking cigs, skating all day. But,
shooting hockey.
But yeah, so I mean, it's good. Mercury retrograde.
What, is this something you just squished, or is this?
Oh yeah, and I squished that with like hair straightener. Yeah, like that, and it was really shitty weed, like really shitty weed. Yeah,
why did you do it with a hair straightener when you have a gigantic resin press over there?
I don't know. So we have the new.
You got technologically overloaded.
We got the new plates, but I'm not using them.
Show the plates to the camera. Just show it to me. Yet. I don't care. The hell do I care? Plates.
Yeah, buddy. So we got our plates in, but they're not. Obviously, they're not. There's no heaters in these yet, so I only have one functioning set currently. So I just tossed the old hair straightener on, and I took it apart and I just put it underneath the press. It works pretty well.
So you pressed it in the press with hair straightener?
Yes.
There you go. So you went totally old school, new school, mixed it up, bro.
Where is the mouse? I'm gonna get.
So let's see. In cannabis news, what happened? Do you have any news? Are we doing that today?
There's. Do you have news? Do you have news? All right.
You know, I mean, Mitch reading it is just.
No, but it's okay.
Mitch needs to read it normally, but you
can news it up.
Well, we don't have any news yet. Hold on, he hasn't even pulled it up.
I can replay it. I love that sound.
You just want to hear it?
I just love it. Yeah, I don't get to hear it enough anymore. It makes me sad.
Is it like you're going to try to read it off that phone? Because I can't read it off the phone, that's for sure. That ain't happening. I'll be like, words just blending into words.
That's what it'll be?
I can't see shit.
What, do you
I can see fine, but when it comes to phones, like that tiny little text and stuff, that's where it starts to get bad.
So you should get some glasses or contacts.
Yeah, but I didn't think I had to wear them because I forgot about the news. I didn't think I had to.
Oh, you have glasses?
I don't have real glasses. Just reading.
Just reading glasses.
Yeah, I'm old, dude. You know that. When you get old, it's you don't. I don't have like bad eyes. It's just I got old. Yeah. So there you go.
I mean, I don't know that feeling.
Not yet.
No,
it's happening. It's happening though. Don't you worry.
Oh, okay. So you want to hear just why he's looking up news? I want to tell you something that is going to make you laugh. So
tell me.
And it's only going to make you laugh because it involves clubs. But I think this is actually this might be Nick and
Yo. What's going down? You got your radio? You got your radio up loud in the background to hear yourself, or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, dude. Is that your first interview on the radio? Come on, you know the story. Thank you, sir.
You're going to do a kind introduction for the guest that's on the phone?
Of course. Is he back? Are you back?
He should be good. His radio sounds like it's down now.
You back?
There we go.
Yeah, man, I'm good. What's good?
Yo, Nicotine in the house. We had to make sure everybody knew it was you and not Frenchie, even though if you listen to you pretty much figured that out.
We needed to distinguish the two.
We figured it out.
Right.
How are you doing, my friend?
Doing well, man. Good, thanks for having me. It's been a minute. I've been missing y'all.
Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's busy days now too, so we all have to be like separated, man. We can't just hang out. But where you at? Where you at? Working? Are you working now?
You know, I was working all morning, all day, and I wanted to find a quiet place to get on the phone with you guys, so I just raced home in traffic. Traffic is brutal in Denver right now. Jesus. So,
Yeah, it's, I mean,
That
it's,
is nice. Everybody wants to be out and
and
get out of work.
and it's past 2 o'clock.
Get
so,
out of work
Yeah.
Friday. Yeah, you know how it is. Cool.
yeah, man. I had some good meetings today, though, so today's a good one.
Yeah, no, it's all moving forward, and we're just we were pulling up news, but I don't know. Kyle doesn't look like he really wants to read no news. Forget about it. News only works.
Yeah, I heard you guys rambling about news.
Nah, we never. We only.
No
if
news.
Mitch was here, Mitch is the only guy adult enough to sound like he knows.
Successfully-
He can
Yeah,
actually
he's
read it.
Right.
He's good.
Like I just go fade off halfway through and
Yeah.
start talking about something, and
It's
the
tough
kid-
to keep on
The
track.
kid can't quite read yet, so that ain't
Yeah, I'm
happening.
still learning.
He's learning. And KTI, he's he found the news, but to read it, that's like a whole other option.
That's a different job.
That's a
different
whole
job.
other option. So I guess it's solventless.
Solventless Fridays.
We can say it with you around.
It makes more sense to say Solvent-Free
It
Friday.
says
'cause
Solvent-free Friday
Yeah,
oh,
well,
it's
on my
solvent-free.
screen.
well, because it
Okay,
the
solvent-free.
Solvent-free and the 2 F's just sounded
I got
right
you. I
as
got
the title.
No,
you know what I mean?
got you. But now we can say it with you. I'm saying.
Yeah, but now we can say Solventless because you're on the air.
Oh,
you know?
now it's a Solventless Friday instead of a Solvent-free Friday?
just for this
Yeah.
moment.
It's
Just for this
just
moment.
while you're on, it's
Just while
solventless.
you're on. We changed-
When Frenchie
just-
comes back on, it'll be Solvent-free again.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
just adjusted for you, my friend. As we always do. As we always do.
All right.
So,
Right on.
I have to ask only because I haven't seen anything in a long time, and every time that we've caught up recently, we've both been swamped. How are you still doing work down in Jamaica? How's everything going down with the Solventless going on in Jamaica?
You know, we're definitely still doing stuff down there. What we've been doing is a research and development program. So it's, this is a long game plan down in Jamaica. I'm
Right.
trying to, bring some of our genetics down. The government down there is giving me some ability to do that a little bit easier. We're just trying to, do some research with the University of Technology, which is really nice because if you look into the history of, people actually doing real research on cannabis, University of Technology has been one of the only people to do a lot of this research with cannabis and pregnancy back in the day. I don't know if you guys remember that article.
Yeah, and they're
that
one of the
was-
few that actually ended up with a lot of positive sort of results too, which nobody
Yeah.
else
So
did.
I'm
No
super
one else
blessed
did.
to be working with UTech because they've got some history on paper.
Nice.
So we built out a greenhouse, indoor facility, and an outdoor area for production.
Well, you threw you threw some tires out there. What'd you do? You said
No, we're
Tires
doing
and
some
bamboo
stuff on University of Technology's property, so it's nice.
I'm
We have some
I'm only
protection
kidding,
there,
of course.
and building some really nice proper structures.
Nice.
Definitely bringing in some
And
construction.
how does the humidity and all that stuff play out with the rosin? Since we're talking about rosin.
Well, I see a lot of the humidity and some of the environmental factors, affecting the plant, which then therefore affects the rosin. That's really what we're trying to bring to Jamaica is a little bit more environment control. Because in the past and, currently, Jamaica produces a resin very quickly under the hot, humid sun out there. Their harvests are, 3 weeks sometimes, and they're pulling down already.
Right, really?
And
Yeah, it's
with how much
massive
the
yield.
weather affects Jamaica and how kind of brutal the weather can be down there, it oftentimes makes the trichomes quite a bit darker.
Right.
Stuff matures a lot faster down there, too, so you'll see a lot more dark trichomes. But, it's about processing the right things, as we all know, especially being in this solventless mechanical world. It's really all about finding those right strains for that environment that's going to produce some viability. And so that's what we're doing down there, bringing in some of those genetics.
And I mean, just with what you were just saying there, kind of goes into what you wanted to talk about a little bit on the show today, and just about the form of the trichome and how that's going to affect the outward appearance of the final product, and that what you were just talking about kind of ties into that perfectly. So I mean, do you want to touch a little bit on how the form of the trichome, or I mean the
I definitely would love to touch on it. The cool thing about this is we're still learning every single day. There's new
Right.
strains, new mediums. The form of the trichome changes per client, per batch, per run for us.
Yep.
We love to scope all the material before we process it. You know, that's one of the big things that we preach is taking a look at that trichome from that particular client, that particular batch, seeing how we're going to process it effectively. And that's really what, you know, I kind of wanted to touch on today. And I've been touching on it a lot, but, you know, as a perfect example, things like Blue Dream have this longer, narrow trichome stalk with a smaller head compared to something like a Bubba Kush, which has this oilier, more stout trichome stalk, larger, more bulbous head. And we process those two different strains differently, or those two different types of trichome forms, you know, to put it simply. Whereas like the Blue Dream, you have to be a lot more gentle with it because those heads and stalks will just break off very brittly, very easily. With something like the Bubba Kush or the OGs, the sours, things that are a lot more oily, and have a lot more of an oil to wax ratio content. That's a big thing with the trichome structure, is how thick that waxy cuticle is. It's protecting how much oil is on the inside. And that creates variables for us in the agitation phase, in the drying phase, and then even in the pressing phase in rosin. You know, we're using a little bit more heat to stabilize something like the Blue Dream, you know, a little bit less heat for something like the OGs and sours to retain those strong terps. The Blue Dream has great terpenes. It just has a lot more of a wax-to-oil ratio, and so we manipulate it differently. And that's the cool thing about what I'm doing. It keeps me motivated every single day, is we're seeing new things every day. Some of the CBD stuff that we've been getting, some of these strains are like, it seems like they're straight water soluble. We're losing a lot of the cannabinoids and the yield to the water, creating a very oily, viscous type of end product. And then some strains we're seeing dump on us on the CBD side, but it's so oily, you know, it's harder to manipulate it. But it's great because we're learning new techniques every single day, different ways to get to a certain consistency that we are after, as well as our clientele is after.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like anytime if you look at, you know, you do 20 runs with different product, it's like literally everything's a different texture, different color, and it's, you know, it's so strange.
And it's hard to explain that to the patients, too, or to the clients especially. You know, they're like, oh, we only want shatter. Well, you just gave us a bunch of super waxy stuff that, you know, have very air volatile terpenes that want to just move, and it's going to be harder for us to create a shatter product consistently for you. So we'd rather turn that into a batter because it's going to have more shelf consistency for that, you know, for the clientele, et cetera. But explaining that to a shop that like only wants shatter because that's what they had it in their mind that they wanted, you know, from us as a MIP is difficult. You know, we obviously do it every single day, but you know, coming into these more variables and the different trichome forms,
I mean, sometimes it's good to show those people like the loss that they're going to get, because that's usually the motivating factor, is the fact that if you're like, okay, you see, if you want me to turn that into that, I got to remove all that and do that, and then they're like, oh yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, and then you might suffer a little bit more, you know. Of
course, and
you
other people will understand it and say, you know what, guy, no problem. I'm happy to lose 60% to have the product I want because I want that product, and you're like, good, now we're all on the same page. Because it's like anybody who's made hash, it's like you get the bag and you look at it, right? And you know there's times in your head where you're like, it's a 50-50 chance this shit's going to just turn to crap, you know what I mean? And you have to learn to tell the people that ahead of the game, because if they don't know that, they're always going out of there, walking away thinking, oh man, I'm getting this out of that. And then the reality is they come back and they're like, you're like, here's your poop soup, you know what I mean? You know, and they're like, what?
Well, then certain strains just don't yield. So it's very hard to tell a client that, you know, they have an amazing product, but it only yielded 3% once we finished rosining it. And, you know, that product may have had a lot more of a wax to oil ratio, which we're not going to see in the yield of rosin. But the final product is, you know, that Louis. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we do. You know, that's what we really stand for, is trying to create the highest quality product. And so it's been difficult, you know, to work in an industry where a lot of big money's coming in. They're only looking at that end number. But, you know, we are staying firm and still loving what we do every day, and we can stand behind the product. You know, that's the biggest part.
And you know, it's nice because I'm having, you know, a lot of those same difficulties, and specifically even with the Blue Dream that you were talking about. I mean, that photo that I sent you earlier was of two separate batches of Blue Dream. One of them that, battered up on its own without any agitation, and one that remained as a shatter. And trying to explain that to a customer and say, listen, you gave me the same strain, but these are two different batches, and now one of them...
They might not have flushed well on that second one, and it had a lot more of that wax to oil ratio. They didn't have time to convert into oils because they weren't giving it, enough straight water. Yeah, so we see that all the time. I fully agree.
And getting them to understand that. But what I was saying was it's getting better because I feel the quality of the employees in this industry is starting to also get better. So you have a lot of people now in the industry that you're able to talk with, whether it be the product manager or the the inventory manager, whoever you need to speak to, that they get it. They understand.
They're
what's
learning.
happening. Yes, exactly.
For sure.
It's not just like, oh, this isn't shattered
on the other side of the line.
Right. It's really nice because you can walk in and you say, oh, here's some wax, and they're like, well, this smells amazing, and I'm like, well, exactly. It's going to smell a little better.
It's also like even Hickenlooper acknowledged recently where he sees that, hey, this project's kind of working, isn't it? Because he sees the money. He sees the money, and he sees his reputation that his city's got, which is not like it's deserved because he didn't do shit for it. All he did was fight us every single step of the way. So hardly he should take any credit. We got.
I think I might have just.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I think we have Frenchie on the line now.
Oh,
hey, Frenchie, how's it going?
You got rid of. What did you do there?
We hung up on Nicotine.
Oh,
He's just going to have to call back.
Hung up on Nicotine, but we got Frenchie now, so there we go.
Oh, say hello to Nicotine for me.
He'll be on in a second.
He'll be back on in just a second.
We'll be able to chat together. So how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing really good.
Good. Living the life out there still in Cali, I'm sure. There we go.
It's a little intense because of the election and the whole legalization going on.
Yes, but we got Nick back on the line here too.
Yeah, Nick is back on with us too.
Nick, you there?
Yeah, hello. Yes.
There you go. Now you guys are.
Yo, is that Frenchie?
That is Frenchie.
Yes, it is. How are you, my friend?
Yo, walk to that, Frenchie. I've been loving what you've been posting lately, Frenchie.
Thank you. I'm finding a lot of science that is quite amazing.
Oh yeah,
and what we were teasing about a little bit at the beginning of the show here. We can tell people a little bit towards the end, and like you said, you've been rounding up all this science and all of this knowledge and information that you've started sharing with everybody through these workshops, and hopefully. We're going to be getting the opportunity to bring one out here to Denver, so we can announce a little bit more about that a little bit later. But we're looking forward to having you out here in Denver. Really, what made you want to start doing these workshops for people? And a lot of people nowadays are trying to keep their information to themselves, and they're trying to keep their techniques to themselves. What made you want to go out and say, I want to tell everybody that I possibly can how to do exactly what I'm doing at home with their own product?
I was given that knowledge freely, living with a local who actually gave it to me. So that not only it was given to me, but I was an host in their own house. So there is that gift is so big that it's not something that I cannot not share, literally. And knowledge is made to be shared. Otherwise, we would still be living in cave, literally.
Oh yeah, no, of course. And now everybody.
Wallet.
Because now it's also interesting because the whole industry is there's a lot of smoke and mirrors.
And literally, how good are you if you have to hide your technique to be at the top of the game?
Sure, and that only lasts for a very short time because people are pretty good at figuring stuff out. Like, don't forget leaving the tech behind you in the video, or don't believe it happens all the time. Where you see people get all screwed over. Like, oh man, we left that in the corner, and all it took was one person seeing the one little piece in the corner and going, I figured out their whole technique. Good, done it.
The guys in straight concentrates just made that mistake about a week ago that I picked up on, and they've been covering their press for their rosin press for at least a year and a half now, and it looked like they had what was a party where they were drinking, and in the background of the fucking picture that they took, you can see their press that they've been working their ass off for the past year and a half to not show anyone. And it's clear as day right there. And again, but before seeing it, we all knew what it was. I knew exactly what the press was. So yeah, trying to hide hide those techniques. I mean, we even tried to do it for a little bit, but it doesn't work. People are way smarter than we want to give them credit for.
And, how many chefs exist in this world, you know, and they're all able to exist, and everyone knows their techniques, and they all have their different style and their different technique. But, the knowledge is there, you know, and you can share it, we can all get along.
And also, a lot of it comes down to, it really comes down to the material, I'm sure, as you guys all understand, too. So once the grower connects with the hash maker, and it all kind of connects, and they stay together, and they work together, then they develop techniques and they develop quality products that are consistent. That's the key, you know. And it's like you have to deliver a good product. That means you have to have the same, and it's really hard to. That's what we were talking about earlier. Is just how hard it is to convey to the grower who's not fully connected to the final product of the hash, that it's like you really got to think about it from the beginning, and you got to handle it right the whole way, and it has to get to you in the right condition, because someone, you know, chucks you a really hot bag that's been sitting in the truck, and you're like, oh, you don't even want to open it up, because you're like, oh, it's going to be festering, you know what I mean?
You know, there is a wall of osmosis that has to exist with a grower, very much so like the winemaker and the wine grower. It's where the credit goes literally to the grower, because the winemaker can transform those grapes to a higher level, but it's still the land, the genetic, and the grower that are expressing themselves fully into the final product.
Sure.
And that's one of the things I love about California, you know, right now before everything changes soon, which is going to be a little, you know, scary and different, but you can have that direct access to the grower in California. And here, you know, we definitely, as nip companies, I mean, our goal is to also, you know, not only produce for the grow and the company, but to consult with the head grower, you know. And I think we do that with a lot of centers here. But it's, you know, it was a lot easier growing up in California to just get with growers themselves and make that connection. And, you know, things are going to change in California, but I definitely hope that we can still, you know, keep our clear contacts with the growers themselves. And, you know, whether it's vertically integrated or not, you know, hopefully we can, keep keeping that contact intact.
Sure. And I mean, back in the day, it was like all the, you know, the biggest worry was that someone's going to steal your contact. You know what I mean? So everybody kind of kept their people at bay. You know, I'm getting this. I have to go to this old lady and pick this up. You know, and it was always there. You know, there's always an old lady or some little cover, but you know, you knew what it was really going down. And now it's like we're in a different game. It's the big money coming in, and when you compare it to wine, like you were saying, it's like the Paul Masson crappy wine cooler things or whatever, you know what I mean? Those guys will buy grapes off anybody because they don't give a shit, and they'll just mix it all up. You know, they don't have to worry about it. Whereas if it's a small farm, you go check out the grapes, you go check out the place. You have, you know, it's like you know exactly where it came. And it's kind of the same anytime there's a short distance between on the plant in the vine, you know, to where it's consumed or where it's produced or where it's processed. You know, the shorter the distance, the better the product always. You know, it doesn't matter, you know, however you do it. If you're traveling with dry ice across, you know, taking like an hour driving around with dry ice and you're trying to do fresh frozen, it's pretty hard to compare it to like cutting it off the plant and walking it into a cooler, you know what I mean, and just freezing the shit right there and having that access to that ability, you know, which is awesome because that's the way it is.
I think it's one of the reasons, you know, we're still here is I still love going with my cooler and dry ice to our individual clients. I'm the owner. I still like to be the courier and have that communication with the client, with the grower. You know, and it's
because
it's hard to
but also
keep
you
small
can
grassroots companies around, and
only you can trust yourself that you're going to get it to you in the right condition because you know how it is. The minute that you say, "Hey, can you go pick this up for me?" They're like, "Oh, you meant like that much dry ice?" You're like, "Yeah, dude."
That much material? You mean I have to fill my entire sedan? Yeah,
because people come.
That's what I do every day.
It's 100 pounds or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh shit, that's actually taking up a lot of room. And if it doesn't take up a lot of room, there's a problem because you know they've crushed that stuff down and you know squished it up. So yeah, like we all know, it's always it's a lot of love going into the process, and the process kind of starts right there. You know what I mean? Well, it actually starts with the grower, obviously, but if you're not the grower, it literally starts from the minute he hands it to you. You know what I mean? It's like the clock's ticking at that point, and you got to kind of process it is kind of quickly.
Retain and Terpene.
even so, you need the connection. If you have not seen the place where the plant grows, and you have not seen the plant labs, you're going to have a lot of questions to ask your grower. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it doesn't matter what, it's quite important to know your grower and to know your plant, because it makes a big difference on when you work with it.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, it's kind of like going to your doctor. You know, it doesn't help to lie to each other at that point in time, because, you know, you got to be as honest as possible. And if there's like any issues with the product, it's good to know it at that moment, because the worst thing is when you know, someone hands you a bunch of stuff you just went through, like basically, you know, breaking the law back in the day, and now you're just wasting time, and you get home and there's fucking mold and everything. You know what I mean? And you're like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this guy trying to.
That is one of the nice things about the regulatory system.
Sure.
Yeah. Now we can't accept material that has pesticides or, you know, mold and microbial, things of that nature, and you know, it's definitely created you know, higher quality in the industry. It costs us a lot more to comply.
Danny was like, what?
But you know, it's definitely, you know, moved out some of the people that are using some of the bad pesticides, moved out some of the people that aren't curing or growing properly.
And dude, you know, it's so funny that you're saying that it's kind of pushed those people out, man, and it really has. You know, we had that stint of time where we were getting hit. People were getting hit with pesticides all the time, and every day I felt like there was a new story with a new dispensary or a new MIP. Big names, little names, everybody. But now you're getting into my concern of, you know, okay, so obviously microbutanol is illegal, and you can't use microbutanol in Colorado. So what about Ed Rosenthal's Zerotol, for example?
That's okay.
Exactly. Ed Rosenthal's Zerotol is okay, but it contains clove oil, it contains olive oil, thyme oil.
It's on the list. Saw it.
I know. Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. But here's where your moral code is going to have to start coming in with the product intake, because even though Zerotol is approved, the thyme oil, the thyme oil, the olive oil,
thyme.
Thyme.
Just checking. I don't know. I thought there was some new thing out there.
Anyway, those oils in their production are legally allowed to have certain parts per million of microbutanol in their production. So if you're taking all of those products that are allowed to have microbutanol in them, and then you're extracting them to make the oils to go into this Zerotol, now the Zerotol is going to start reading with parts per million of microbutanol in it. Even though you didn't use microbutanol, you used an approved pesticide. So you're going to go in, you're going to get this test done, and if you used a fuck ton of Zerotol, you're going to have maybe enough ppm in there to register as if you used Eagle 20, and now you're fucked. And then what happens when you're stuck with
Well, that's the biggest problem with concentration in general, is that people always forget. You're concentrating everything at that point, so it's like.
Well, I think what they did probably overregulate a little bit, and I mean, I think we're going to see some lawsuits from some of the dispensaries that did get these, you know, pesticide sightings or whatever,
right.
You know, because of, you know, these type of variables, etc. I mean, I was upset to see just even a couple months ago stylet oil removed from the list, and I believe the only reason, or added to the non-approved or banned list or whatever. And I believe the only reason is because it's not approved in the tobacco industry.
Right.
Because they're, you know, relaying everything to what is smoked and what, you know, what you can spray on things that are smoked.
The biggest issue is
tobacco.
The biggest issue I see right now, though, is the fact that they don't have a threshold on a few products, which are like, okay, you know, it's totally safe, especially like things like when you see on the list neem oil and all the like, natural shit's all illegal. You're like, illegal, neem oil, terrible. You're like, really? Okay, so looking at the list, I'm looking and saying, wow, that doesn't seem. If you use it in veg,
I don't like neem oil.
Yeah, well, I definitely don't use it in definitely don't use it in flour, but in veg, never had a problem with it as long as.
That's why I like stylet oil. It didn't smell like neem.
But that only lasts. That's off the record now too, right?
Yeah, you can't use stylet oil.
No, you can't use stylet. That's what I was mentioning. Yeah, you can't use that.
And so as almost everything that comes online, and especially that's weird because now the ones that seem the most organic or the most based on sort of nature are the ones that are getting knocked out a lot of times first. Because of the residual qualities of
Green Cure, ridiculous. Yeah, because it doesn't say it on the freaking label. Unbelievable.
Right.
So, Frenchie, what do you do, Frenchie, when you come across product that, you know, people give you and you have to just be like, man, I can't run this. I can't do it. It's not gonna, you know. Do you have that happen a lot where people give you product overwhelmed with mites or powdery mildew or just something that would botrytis, anything that would prevent you?
To tell you the truth, powdery mildew is not really a problem for a hash maker. because powdery mildew floats and trichome sink. And powdery mildew is a lot smaller than the size of a trichome. Mm-hmm. So that when you really wash heavily, you actually clean up everything.
But in the regulated system, they're testing for that.
Right.
Like, that's where it's tough because...
Well, Callie's about to get his ass kicked with this for sure because...
I have been tested because I wanted to know how clean I could make it if I wasn't just... I applied logic to it. I was quite sure that looking at the size of the two different elements, I could separate them easily with water. And I had the ash checked, and I never had anything coming back for PM, for mold.
Huh. So you've washed material with powdery mildew on it, and essentially we're using your methods to separate the powdery mildew off of what you're saying would be the top of the floating water.
Yeah, you can pretty much.
And then you got to test it from
the And then I rinse. My bags is not a collecting bag. My bag is where I separate and sieve. And I use water. I use a fan of water, very powerful. A little bit like Bubble Man is carding. Basically, I move my resin in my bag against my wall to clean it up so that anything that is smaller than 45 microns, it goes through and is washed away.
Sure.
Which you're saying all of the powdery mildew spores are smaller than, so they should all go through
much
that.
Smaller than 45 micron, yeah.
Right. Huh.
Much smaller than that.
And then you got it tested for microbials, and it came back clean.
It came back clean 3 times.
Wow.
3 different places, 3 different labs.
But it's much nicer not to have to do that.
Yeah. It's definitely preferred
and you lose a bunch of terps there too, I'm sure, along the way. But I mean, sometimes if you use outdoor material, it's like you kind of need to wash it anyway. A lot of times because it's got covered in dust and there's.
And that's it. I work with outdoor mostly, so the way I work, I always wash heavily.
Sure, it makes a lot more sense for that. I mean, indoor, hopefully you never have that as an issue. But outdoors, a lot of people forget that those things are out in the elements, and if it's a windy, especially in Colorado, I mean, we're dry and dusty, so you got these sticky-ass plants out in the middle of a field, and a big windstorm comes, and a lot of that weight what you were hoping for might be just dirt. In the end, I got a big plant.
I'm used to that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Sometimes the lower buds are like just caked on, you know what I mean, from just splatter and stuff. So, going on to the possibility of you coming out here, you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I think it's a great idea, and we got a perfect space for you.
Yeah, we have a great space. We were just speaking with Frenchie over the past couple of days, but I mean, why don't you tell him, Frenchie? Why don't you let people know what you were planning on doing and what it is that you wanted to bring here to Denver?
And then Nika, you can tell us how you're going to contribute, obviously.
Yeah, how you're going to be able to help him out with
Got
this.
you on the spot now.
Oh shit! I'd love to help. I'd love to do this. I've been trying to do this with Frenchie for a minute.
Right? Well,
basically, it's Subcool who more or less put me into a teacher role when he opened a thread on rollitup.org for me that I've been using as a teaching thread where I answer questions. And then I wanted to go a little bit deeper into it, and I wanted to write a book about it, but it's not, you don't really have the contact with the person. Right. And slowly, the concept of making workshop was created, and that's what I'm trying to do, especially this year, because I don't really know how long I'm going to be able to do it. I'm dedicating at least one a week every month to create workshops, mainly Washington, Oregon, and California for the moment. And I would love Colorado because anybody can come to legalized state. It doesn't matter the nationality, it doesn't matter where you're from. You can come and study and do the workshop, which is really amazing.
And so we're planning on It's going to be at the Sohai Gallery, so at the Sohai Gallery space, and I believe we planned for July 1st and 2nd, Frenchie, correct?
Wow, we got dates and everything? Jesus.
Yes, it is, yeah, exactly, yeah.
So we're going to do the 1st and the 2nd. Obviously, more details are going to be hashed out here within the next week.
Hashed out. Ooh.
so we'll get those taken care of in the next week. Once Mitch is back in commission to be able to start taking care of some things. Commission. But so what we know of right now is definitively it is going to be July 1st and July 2nd. There is going to be 2 of the expos, if you will, or what are you calling them, Frenchie? What is there a name for these things?
It's ice water sieving workshop.
Because Nicky, you better be there. You're gonna learn some stuff. No, you definitely should come through. That'd be awesome.
It's from 8:30 in the morning to 6 in the evening.
8:30 in the morning? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Are you insane? My
and
God, Frenchie.
We breakfast together.
Okay, as long as it's breakfast. Okay.
Introduce each other.
No, you can't pass up on that. Frenchie's food is amazing.
Frenchie's breakfast sounds way too good.
I looked at the menu.
Food is amazing, and I'm blessed.
Yeah, I looked at the menu for his past workshop that he did in California, and it's like French coffee and croissants and all this food.
What else would you expect?
I want to eat. That's what I'm saying, though. You got to have the breakfast, and it's in the glass shop.
The reason for it is you have to kill yourself before you smoke as much hash as me and Frenchie smoke.
That's true. That's true. You don't want anybody fading out on you too early in the class.
Right.
You know,
so what time does the class go till, Frenchie? It'll start at 8:30, and then what
till 6 o'clock.
Wow, that's a day.
That's a good day. There's a lot of information in that day, and they were confident. They said one day.
There is a lot of information.
One day is not going to do it. We're going to have. They said they're going to have 2 days because they said one day is just not going to be enough to fill all of the people that want to know this knowledge. And
your brain is going to hurt by the second day.
I've had a lot of people asking me in Colorado to come and do the workshop for quite a while. So the connection with you is just an amazing opportunity, and I would rather do it with you guys than anybody else, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I mean, I'm salivating. I want breakfast.
We're glad that you're choosing us to go through this with, because we think
we'll make it work.
Yeah, we have a great venue, and we have it's definitely a great spot. So I think we'll definitely be able to bring out the people and accommodate them in the way that you would regularly accommodate people. And then all things are even better because it's in a glass gallery. So I think at that point we'll probably have Voorhees. I think glass will be in there.
Nick Voorhees' show will be there, so it'll be good.
Yeah,
we'll have multiple reasons to be there.
Awesome. Well, we're really looking forward to having you come out, Frenchie. We're really excited about it.
Me too. I have to say, I love your state. I love Denver. I love the vibe there.
Perfect. Well, do we want to?
We can still keep on rapping.
Yeah. So, is there anything else, Frenchie or Nika specifically, that you guys wanted to touch on?
Why don't we take Nika's original thing that he was really deep into, which was trichome different sizes, and then we can have that relayed on to Frenchie, because I'm sure he's inspecting his trikes.
So we aren't melt different way. We aren't melt in the size. I aren't melt in the dimension of ripeness. Mm-hmm. It's totally different way to approach it, literally.
And so what we were talking about earlier before you came on, Frenchie, was Nika was essentially trying to say the difference in the actual structure of the trichome is going to make a vast difference in the final material.
Which way you should go with it.
And that structure represents the terpene, the different types of terpenes as well. Generally speaking, the smaller headed trichomes with those smaller, thinner, longer stalks are going to have more air volatile terpenes, etc. Terpenes that will get lost in the water, etc. So
those would be what back in the day we called sativas, and now we call narrow leaf drug varieties, of course, because we listen to Ron Clark.
Have you noticed that like Nika on a blue dream or a Durban or something that has that really high sativa concentration? Did you ever notice like kind of like a curving? You know what I mean? They kind of don't stand straight up. You know, if you look at those short, stout indicas with those bulbous heads that you're referring to, they're really
straight up,
straight.
Just so small and thick.
And
Some of those other sativas are so much longer. I feel like they get caught in the wind, or will maneuver different directions.
And it makes it a little bit easier to knock that stalk off than it would have been for the shorter. So you have. I find that I have to be much gentler, not even just with ice extraction, but even with rosin extraction. There's differences in breaking the trichomes off of a flower of a Blue Dream or breaking the trichomes off of a flower of some Ghost OG. And does that really? How much more? Does that make a difference in ice wax? Like, does that? I'm not as good at making ice hash as either of you as I could ever hope to be. You know, I'm not anywhere close to that. I'm a rosin guy. So what difference does that really make?
We just go into different agitation methods. We're a lot more gentle. We're soaking a little bit longer to try and create a stronger trichome, basically, so that when we break it off, we're not breaking off any plant material with it, because that's what happens, oftentimes with some of those types of strains, the sativas, the ones with longer trichomes, smaller heads, is they're so much easier to break off. They're so brittle, you can break off a little bit more plant material if you're not careful. So we're really, we adjust the temperatures, we adjust the agitation methods, and then the drying method as well. In fact, it's kind of interesting. We almost want to go colder when we're drying on things like OGs and some of the more oily items, so that we can dry them more properly, more separatize the heads. Compared to something like a Blue Dream, which generally we'll want to go a little bit warmer. It'll create a little bit more oil, because we're trying to get as much oil out of that Blue Dream as possible. And then all this stems back to we're just generalizing right now. There's certain times where I'll run a friend's Blue Dream and it crushes yield. Yeah. Terpenes, potency, everything. And it may be a different pheno. The way he's growing it may be just ideal for those trichome heads. There's so many variables in there that we can't really just say Blue Dream and OG.
Right.
Sure.
But, we're just trying to, give an idea of the trichome structure, and those are nice generalized.
Well, the key is, again, to get a mic out and look at everything that you're about to work with and get used to looking at it over and over and over again, because
Frenchie, do you scope your material before you run it?
You guys are talking about characteristics of resin, but it doesn't change the technique of harvesting. A resin head is made by nature like a fruit with an abscission, so that the resin head fall at maturity. Mm-hmm. So that it's like, imagine shaking a tree full of fruit.
Yep.
Your first slight shake is going to let the ripest fruit fall. Mm-hmm. Then you shake a little bit harder, you have a second level of ripeness, a second dimension of ripeness, and so on until you have no fruit anymore on your tree. So it's not a question of size, it's a question of ripeness of the trichome. How filled up they are with resin, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, and we're not necessarily talking about just the size. Well, I think we most might be talking similarly. We're talking about like the structure, the oil to wax ratio is a big thing, and I think has to do with the maturity of the resin as well, or how well they flush and turn the sugars back into oil.
You're talking more like the thickness of the thickness of the wall of the trichome sort of membrane. Let's call it at that, just to kind of get, and then the wax factor.
The thickness of the membrane is important, but it's the wall formation of the resin inside the resin head. I've had flower that tested at 28% THC, and I couldn't press it if my lab was dependent on it. I couldn't even rosin it. So there is, in that 2 weeks of flowering, the last 2 weeks, that there is a peak that if you really cut too earlier, you have cannabinoid, but you don't have resin formed inside the resin head. It's like, for me, as far as I search now what makes quality is actually made in those 2 last weeks, but I don't know what's happening. I'm looking for scientists to tell me how come 2 weeks early I don't have any resin formed inside my resin head, but I got cannabinoid. Then if I wait 10 days, then my resin is bursting with it. What is happening during these 2 weeks?
Yeah. I know people.
And I think a lot of what's happening in those 2 weeks is those sugars are converting to oils, and some of that happens in what nutrients they're using, how they're flushing. There's certain nutrients that are using so many, I'd say, oils or petroleum, basically, nutrients, where it's so much harder to flush that out, to change those sugars into oils. And we're seeing, smaller yields and less quality resins. And I think a lot of California is probably still seeing that in like PGRs and other, additives and petroleum-based nutrients as well.
Yes, but it's like this is what makes the plant. It's not really what makes the resin. The resin and the terp, everything is made inside the resin head. If the membrane is not busted, nothing can come out. So it's like there is something very specific, a transformation that is happening during the 2 last weeks that we need to study, because the whole formation of resin itself seems to be happening at that time. And if you go overboard, then you have overripe resin, where your first shake of the tree do not give you the best resin. Your best resin is in the middle dimension of ripeness, and not the first shake like the super ripe one. There is that window inside.
What's that?
I think we see that again. I think we see that a lot, oftentimes with super dry material, where we'll run it super quick for that first run.
Sure.
For super dry material, just kind of gather anything that was broken, any of the broken trichomes, some of the dirt, stuff like that. Put that aside. That second run will really go in, and that's when we'll get that prime material.
It's like cleaning out. It's like cleaning your lines before you fucking go for something. You're like, I don't know what's in there. Just get rid of that shit.
Exactly. Run it for 2 minutes. See what's in there. See if you can pull out whatever may have been sitting at the bottom, or any other small particulate, and then go in.
And then maybe re-clean that later as something on the side after, a little side project.
No, we definitely do that as well.
Keep it out of the record, of course, off the record. Now that we have to write everything down and it's all fucking official. I mean, that's going to be the whole next thing, is that people are just going to be getting in trouble for trying to figure out angles to work the system. And that's pretty much, I think that's what we've been doing for the last fucking 75 years, right? It's like, we're all so good at it. That's the problem. Like, we're like the most professionals. Dead air.
It's dead air right there. You can't.
People can't talk.
You can't finish a statement and then rip down a dab right afterwards.
I did. I finished a statement and I thought people watched. They know what I'm doing.
I don't want to talk without properly being introduced.
Phone homie in the house. Don't even. I haven't, because I have our official guests on the air right now. Our unofficial. Like, I woke up and looked at Facebook and said, "Oh, phone homie in town. Got to get him on the show." Boom.
I get this one. Damn.
That was easy. And he said I'm in Boulder. I was like, this is even easier. There's no excuses whatsoever. So phone homie in the house. Where's your? I don't see your rig. Where's your freaking rig?
Dude, I got it right here.
No, where's your official rig? Yeah, where's not a big one, but your official new phone homie rig? Where's it? Your autopilot.
I took one. I gave one out to somebody. So that one that I was going to keep for myself actually went to somebody else.
So Nika, did you know we had phone homie in the studio?
No, who is this? Introduce.
Come on. This is phone homie. We've met quite a few times. You always go. Every time that we see each other, they always look at me like, "Oh, hey, who is this guy? Hey, how you doing? What's up? We've never met before."
He's
your voice sounds really familiar. I must apologize.
It's all right. We're probably gonna hang. We'll probably hang a little tonight, and I'll reintroduce myself like my name was Hove.
Right.
There you go. But anyway,
honored to be on the same panel as both yourself and Frenchie, and of course everybody here, Mr. Dunn yourself.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. No problem. So back to the dead air situation.
But there was no.
What are we doing here?
I was preparing our guests for a fine rosin dab, and you're sitting here telling me that I'm in charge of the dead air.
And I was doing a dab. I thought this was part of the show.
Hey, you know what? Let's just blame
I felt like I wasn't doing enough dabs to be on the show anymore.
I'm blaming Mitch.
Right. I've already smoked 3 spliffs, yo. I'm trying to keep up.
What is the equivalent of rosin to spliff? Mathematics. We got to get some mathematics.
Yeah, there would be some math involved because it depends on the spliff and who rolled the spliff.
Rosin.
And there's a lot.
I think there's rosin in my spliff. What's going on here?
Okay. We changed the game again.
The pace is up now.
Moving.
He's got your New Balances on.
Yeah, sure. Now we got another one. We got another Nicotee friend in the house. So.
What's up, Nick? Josh.
Oh wait, hold on. Wait, get your mic on. Now it's on.
Can you hear me, Nick?
Yep.
Yo, what's good?
What's up? It's Josh.
Josh.
From Dab Divas.
Yo, what's good, man?
I'm supposed to be over your house tonight at 5:30. I'm supposed to come over and you didn't even know who it was. All right, it's all good, brother.
It's okay. That we know what you're thinking now.
No, I'm starting to think this is just a thing of Nicotee's. Like he just plays it off that he doesn't know anybody.
He doesn't
That's
know.
what it is. Yeah.
That guy does not know anything.
I don't know you.
That's the safest
When
way
you
to
see
be,
me,
though.
then I'll see if I know you.
Right. You don't know who I am, right, Nick?
What's up?
You don't know who this is, do you?
Who's that, Josh?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I know who you are, bro. What do you mean?
I'm just fucking with you.
We're
This
just
is one of
fucking
those.
with you, bro.
This is one of those hi mom moments. Hey mom.
I don't know what the hell's going on here. What's going on?
we don't have.
Just joke around.
We don't have Mitch.
What's up? I was just saying what's up.
We don't have Mitch. That's the problem. Normally we have
trying to-
Mitch. Mitch is the voice of reason, and he has all the great questions. Today we're just flargling around. We have no idea what we're doing. But
I should have brought my whistle. It would have been a lot of fun.
It's all right. You guys were rambling while I was listening before I came on. I think we had a nice conversation.
You saw the rambling going on, didn't you? You were like, "Ah."
We are the dead air posse. We're trying to.
We were all doing dabs.
Yeah.
At the exact same moment, exactly.
So, Frenchie, how many people are you expecting to have each day?
How do they get in
at the
touch with?
workshops?
How do they
And,
get?
yeah,
How do they figure it out?
How are they going to find out more about
Sign up.
I want to come.
I'm gonna put it on IG, and you can get the ticket on Eventbrite. Okay. And I take a maximum of 25 persons per workshop.
Okay.
Leaving it a nice little personal setting, making sure that everybody's able to see everything and ask questions without having to have.
We got the perfect space.
Yeah.
For all that.
Man, I love the new spot. Big up.
There is hash degustation. We really spend the day together, and the teaching doesn't end at the end of the workshop. I actually want those people to stay connected and ask questions until they don't need me anymore, that they are truly better than me.
I'm going to stay tuned because I'll fly out to wherever this is going to be.
Hopefully,
I want to get into that first 25.
There is one in Seattle at the 28th, then I'm going to come down to Eugene, and I'm going to go down to San Diego, LA, and then I come to see you guys.
You know, you're always welcome to Washington, D.C.
Yes. Definitely.
Nation's capital.
And I've got a great spot for you in Rhode Island also over at
definitely.
at the Tetra Hydro Club. There.
Most definitely.
I'll be in Seattle the 28th. The 27th, I have a lecture for bartender and on the origin of concentrate.
That's awesome. And so I think we're definitely sold out already. I can already feel that. So there's no chance we'll have any spaces left. So whoever's listening better hurry up because I can already feel that. I can already see this one just internally being already full.
Yep.
Just for the breakfast, of course. No, I'm just kidding. later,
I heard about
Frenchie.
that cooking. I'm
Breakfast is killing it. We're not sitting here.
No, and I even put some rosin. I tried to add a little bit of rosin there because a lot of people are asking.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good.
And it's a little bit controversial also at that level. So I like to give an idea of what it is. It's an extraction. It's not really my domain, but it become a huge part of being a hash maker because it gives us a way to keep the quality on a very, very high level instead of having different grade of hash, literally.
Frenchie, you're using a hard press from Gold Ash right now, right?
I do, but I'm doing rosin at a very low level. It's not a big. I mean, I don't really want it to become a big part of what I do. If I have to rosin, it's because I don't have tight resin.
Literally a hash.
If you
like your hands are full of hash at all times.
We can definitely bring. I can bring one or two of my presses as well, if you'd like. So if people want to press some of their own stuff as well, we can definitely offer that as well. I can set a press or two up.
But it's also like to go about the logic of it. It's like it's an extraction, and you want to extract the resin from the resin head. Why would you put 90% of green and chlorophyll with those resin heads to press them? It's like, for me, pressing flower, I think it's being lazy. And it's putting a lot of chlorophyll and water into your resin. It's like, how can somebody press a bud and get 25-30% return when I wash that bud 12 times? I look at it with a magnifying glass. I don't have one resin head left, and I have 10%. It's like there is something not really logical about that.
Right. So
I'd like the people to understand that it's a very good mode of extraction, but it's not as simple as people want to think it is.
And I think a lot of us now,
it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I think a lot of us now, speaking of hash, are pressing hash to get that rosin. But we're seeing anywhere from 90% yields to 30% yields, if not less. When I think a lot of that goes back to the oil to wax ratio.
I have to
with hash.
With hash, obviously.
If you have full melt hash, and it's a 6-star hash, it needs to yield 90%, or you did something wrong. But the majority of our process is flower rosin. The majority of my clients and the majority of the product that we put out is rosin from flowers. And, we're, like you said, Frenchie, we're getting upwards of, 25, 26, sometimes even in the 30% worth of yields. And I've done just about everything to that final product I could possibly do to it, from putting it into a vac oven at high temperatures, low temperatures, cryo freezing it, whipping it, letting it sit out in room temperature, letting it sit out in cold. And some of them I'll notice a significant loss as the rosin cures. I will notice a significant water loss, as you were saying. There's a lot of water that's still coming out in that steam distillation. But I have to say, man, some of the most flavorful extracts that I've ever had, even ones that I've not produced that other people have produced, have been from, fresh flower rosin.
Okay,
for sure.
You mean live resin? You're talking about live resin,
which is
when you say fresh flower.
No, so fresh flower, as in like harvested, dried, and cured, ready to be put into a pipe and smoked.
Okay. So dried and cured. That's not fresh anymore for me.
So right, yes, I guess fresh frozen is. We had
a question. We had a question from one of the viewers was about. I mean, and I could answer it myself, but I'd rather have you answer it, of course, Frenchie, because it sounds way cooler when you say it. They wanted to know if you would freeze it wet or like fresh, like wet or dry. And obvious answer would be
wet.
Wet, I think, right?
You're asking the question to me?
Yeah, I want to hear you say it.
I never freeze. I'm totally against freezing.
Totally against freezing. Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah. When you freeze, you transform the 90% of water that makes the plant into ice.
Right.
That is 9% bigger, so that when the plant matter unfreeze at the second wash, third wash, you have a lot of chlorophyll coming out because you have exploded your plant matter from the inside out. It's not going to show on the first washes because it's still frozen inside, but when it starts unfreezing, you have a lot of chlorophyll coming out. It's like if you can avoid it, it's better. You want fresh resin. Live plant, keep them in a pot like flowers. You would need a ton of it to be able to freeze it. The only point into freezing is to lock the terpene profile of the live plant.
Yes.
But because you do that, you're going to work with that handicap of after 2 wash, you're going to have a lot of chlorophyll coming out. So if you can manage to wash your plant live, fresh, then it's really the best. It's live, fresh resin, not frozen.
Now, by live fresh, you mean quite literally chop it down, don't even freeze it, just wash it the second you chop it.
Exactly. Or put it in a vase in a cold room until you get to it.
Right.
And then you have a window of 10 days or 2 weeks before you get to it. So you have like a huge window of work. You would have to have a huge production coming to you so that you cannot do just fresh live.
Right.
I remember when we first, started making whole plant live material, we took just whole plant live Skywalker plants from the warehouse. I was like, our processing facility was inside the warehouse, so we were able to just take it straight down, big leaf it, and go straight into our water. And it was definitely some proper material. But I think what we've gotten into now with the industry, the regulated industry, is the reason a lot of us like fresh frozen whole plant is because we can control a lot more variables. We're not seeing trim that's been sitting in the back of a warehouse, as Adam was mentioning at the beginning of the show, that's hot, just sitting out, in a black garbage bag in the back of the warehouse, which, we can still see at times some dispensaries still doing those type of things. And with fresh frozen, we can control a lot more of the variables. Some of that variable of it being out or a lot more dust going on to it, et cetera, can be, cut out of the situation. And I think that's kind of why we've gone towards that in this industry. But, if I could get fresh
plants
every single time right when they were taken down, it would be beautiful. I would still be down.
And I think it's also now people have realized, like, if they don't have to process it like they did when they were selling it as flour, they're just turning it into extract, then there's, limited amount, the least amount of time in the dry room and wasting time trimming it off the plant or doing any of this bullshit. It's like, just move it quick, you know what I mean? Which is, makes sense.
It all comes down to the farmer and how much we need to work together so that there is no bag sitting around in a bathroom that is too hot and stuff like that. It's like that working together that we need to have. Actually, the whole community that need to work together.
100. Yeah.
I have a question for you, Frenchie.
Mm-hmm.
What's the longest you can let the flowers sit in water, ice water? Is there a time frame? Before
you mean before you wash them?
Yes.
Because we have never really studied what water does to the trim.
Mm-hmm.
When it rehumidifies. You want a perfect rehumidification because that's what bring it above dry sieving. It's that you can really shake that material pretty powerfully without breaking away particles that's going to be difficult to separate. Mm-hmm. So basically, I rehumidify, and to judge it, you just need to touch your trim and feel if they are totally supple. As soon as they are totally supple, I work with them because I know I lose some type of terpene in the water, but the terpene are literally formed inside the resin head. What comes through the stock, it's still a terpene precursor. Okay. And what I lose the most is at that breaking point, except if a membrane is open, okay? But that's where I lose. That is not really the terpenes that are formed and being transformed into cannabinoids that are really inside the membrane.
More the water-soluble, more the air-soluble terpenes.
Those are not even terpenes, they're precursor. You know what I mean? So it has nothing to do with the terpene we want to keep. The terpene we want to keep are inside. Our main concern is not to break that membrane. So does the water fragilize that membrane when it stays too long? That's the question. Exactly. If there is chemical inside, it's going to leach that membrane. So if the membrane has been frozen, that membrane is going to be more sensitive and can break open more easily also because it became brittle. Okay. It's like it's what we really have to protect, to be able to dry what's inside in a perfect condition so that I press it open and make hashish out of it. Everything is still there and was locked inside that resin head. I didn't lose nothing that was of importance, if I can say that.
Now, I have one question for both of you too. How do you guys feel about this new? It seems to be in the past. I mean, I don't want to call it new because people have been doing it for a long time, but it's really taken storm in the past 8 months or so. But how do you guys feel about these cryo freezers and drying your hash in a cryo instead of in a lab that's at 40 degrees or whatever? How do you feel about the cryogenically freezing to the finished product?
I love it.
It's awesome. It's science. You're like, science. When you open it up and you're like, yeah, cryo.
So, Nika, you
just think of Michael Jackson every time you open it up.
So, Nika T loves it. Frenchie, how do you feel? How do you feel about it?
Hates it. He hates freezing. What are you talking about? Why would he like a cryogenic?
No, but it's the
cryogenically hated that.
But it's the final product. So after you take your bag and you have your pucks,
you still have to have a proper environment, even with the cryo.
The biggest problem with anything like that, any kind of freezing, is because what I always hated back in the day, whenever you put shit in the freezer, it was almost like I'll never see that out of the freezer more than like 10 minutes when I'm doing a hit off of it or something, because I'll put it right back in the freezer again. And it's like you can't take that on a trip and you can't take that with you. So you kind of like you're on life support with that fucking shit.
No, it's still a great way to remove all the water and make it completely stable, whether it greases out or not. It's a more stable product at that point. And I think it's more viable, for certain strains. Mm-hmm. Those strains, those super oily strains, where it's really hard to remove all that water. It's shelf stability overall. I know that.
Do you use one, Dave?
What's that?
Do you use one?
I have used one, and we actually do have our first R&D scientific, freeze dryer in the mail. It's been in the mail for the last 3 weeks.
Freeze dryers in the mail. It's the oldest story in the book.
Wow. I do use one, and
I'll show you the receipt. But we have used
kidding,
I have one. I'm very happy, but still, what we need to do is to do same cream 3 times, 3 batch, and dry them, one in a perfect room, one in a vac oven, and one in a freeze dryer. We lab test. Whatever lose the less air, we go for it.
Right.
It's very simple.
Right. I kind of saw that test being done, and that's one of the main reasons I bought it. I got to big up Taylor T. Beazle. He's the one who kind of showed me first, the freeze dryers and compared them to just his standard, and they were very similar, on terpene preservation.
But did you
very hard for me to tell the difference. What's that?
Did you lab test, or it's only your senses?
Did I smoke them? Yes.
Were those tested? Did Dorian test? Not Taylor, I mean. Did Taylor test the difference, or it's not only your senses that could make the difference?
I didn't see test results, not lab test results by any means. No, this is just my senses, and I hadn't done enough research myself and playing, and that's kind of why we purchased our own to continue some R&D. So I can't give you a final answer right now, but I think it's going to be viable for certain strains.
I think it is, but it would be so cool to have like hardcore data so that we can tell people, this tech is the best tech to dry. Because it's the most important part of a...
Well, I think it's going to be a variable.
Difficult.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be, for certain strains, it's going to be the best. But for other strains, you're going to, retain more terpenes and see the stability that you're after, just, utilizing the proper environment and temperature, humidity controls.
The only concern that I've heard about them is that it is almost rushing the drying process. So when you put them in the freeze dryer, you have to put them in pretty wet, right?
You have to kind of put it in a raw patty.
Right.
I dry with 34 hours in my freeze dryer. I freeze for 13 hours, and I dry for 34.
Okay.
Oh.
Wow. And the temperature is 80 Fahrenheit, but it's alternative. They don't keep it.
So,
I want to try it at 60 degrees to have the temperature of a drying room.
Do you have a cold trap on your freeze dryer, Frenchie?
No.
Because I think that's where the value is going to come back into the freeze dryer. Is grabbing the terpenes in the cold trap.
Yep.
That way you're not losing anything, and then you can add them back in or whatever
so
people are doing.
I was thinking to steam distillate the liquid I get at the end to see what's inside?
Well, we just did. I can tell you what's going to be inside. We just did a test on one of our vacuum ovens that it only happens when you're doing live resin, or when they're running live resin is the only time that I've seen this happen. But if you open up a vac oven after making some sugar wax or some live sugar, you notice this moisture that's on the inside of the oven, and we scraped some of that off the oven. We sent it out for terp testing, and it came back strong as hell. So essentially, all you need to do is have a cold trap to pull that out, which kind of leads to my next question. Have you guys ever thought of taking the water that you're finished extracting with and essentially doing a further steam distillation of that to then be able to pull whatever of those water-soluble
terpenes? With steam, you can't grab the hydrosols, I'll tell you that much. But
okay.
There's ways.
Yeah,
we don't extract. We sieve, and we agitate before we sieve. Please. It would be so nice that we don't use the word extraction for people who do sieving, because it's quite confusing, even legally in Oregon, for example.
Of course. Well, everything got generalized now. That's the problem.
And to answer your question, that water for me doesn't contain important terpene. It contains terpene precursors that are going into the resin egg and that are lost at the breaking point.
Okay.
For me, it's not important terpene.
I always feel like it's kind of like a whole bath of just like unicorn tears for a minute, and you're just like, oh, it smells so good and it's so great, but then it goes away and it's like, oh, it's horrible now, look at it, it's terrible. Like it was beautiful for like a second, and it's only that second when it's all foamy and it looks all awesome, and you pick a big scoop of foam and you're all, there's something in here, man. But
after that, it starts degrading.
And, that is horrible. That is like some dirty hooker after that.
You're like, leave it too long.
Was I looking at that?
We'll grow mold.
Now, have you guys ever played with the nitrogen? Like the liquid nitrogen agitated, stainless washers that necessarily don't have, a spin mechanism on them. They have a hand stirrer, but essentially it's agitated by either liquid nitrogen or some people use CO2, but that carbonates the water, and I don't think that that's necessarily the best route to go. But if you went with the nitrogen, have you guys ever played with any of those? The big stainless washers that you can fit. I mean, I think Daily Extractions has one that can run 100 pounds at a time, and it just gets agitated with liquid nitrogen as opposed to the actual centrifugal spinning of the bottom of the washer.
I did, and they're cool, but he's actually making the machine for me. Perfect. I'm into the Vortex. I'm totally seeing that there is nothing better than that vortex of water to powerfully and gently stroke away the egg from the stalk. So it's like his machines are nice, but it's bubble.
Right.
So it's like it shakes stuff from the trim. For sure, it works well, but it's not optimum because there is not enough power to really take everything away.
Right, and if there was going to be enough, it would require you to sit there the entire time with a hand stirrer and also make a spinning mechanism while the solution is also bubbling. So you would actually have to do a lot more work than if you used a slower washer, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and I'm really into small batch because I'm a craftsman. I do artisanal work, and I don't do more than I don't mix up plants. Even if I don't advertise no run and wall plants, I don't mix up plants, even if it's the same strain when I know where they're coming from. I like to work with small batch because I can get the maximum from what is offered to me. So those big machines, it's nice. You can make quality, but you don't have that precision, that quality that you have when it's really small batch and attention dedicated to it.
Right. And I have to shout out to one of our friends that is actually he's been making these modifications to the washer. And Frenchie, I think you might actually be be familiar with him, but he owns Medicine Farms in Southern California. Medicine Man is what he goes by. He made one of the first handheld rosin presses. And
yes, I do. I know him personally. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, Shane's a great guy. Now, so then I'm sure you're familiar with those units that he's selling that are essentially just hooking up to the back of a standard 5-gallon or 20-gallon bubble machine, and you can set it down to the 10th of a second for your spin cycle.
The only thing with him that I don't agree is lowering the power of the Vortex.
Okay.
You don't want that.
Okay.
The Vortex, the more powerful your Vortex, the better you are. And the more material you put in, the less powerful your Vortex. So that you need something quite powerful to shake everything. Have you ever laid down in a river, feeling all the water really flowing against your body? How powerful and gentle it is? That's what the Vortex does to the leaf matter.
Right.
That sounds like something I want to do right now. I just want to lay in a river right now, just let the water just lower my polar vortex.
So what you're saying is maybe slowing down the cycle it may actually be a bad thing because it may not be able to generate.
It's lowering your quality of agitation.
Okay. Huh.
You want to agitate in that machine. You want to agitate powerfully, optimally, but gently. So that you don't break anything, you don't get a stock, you just get the head.
Mission impossible.
Just the head.
And you just get the head. That's what everyone's looking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what everyone wants. So.
They come easy. They're like fruits. They're made to fall down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that is the key. I mean, the whole thing is like when you look at it from that point, like earlier what you were saying with the tree, shaking the tree, that's a perfect analogy because at the end of the day, the shit is designed to come off. It's like the only reason it doesn't come off easy is because we're too eager to get in there and fucking tear it off when it's like, wait a minute, you just waited like another week. I fall off on my own, you know what I mean? And that's like when you can get it.
Well, all those kids trying to shake the tree.
And they try to shake the tree way too hard. Like, 6 weeks, shake the tree.
I just want to
You're
eat
like,
the tree.
it's like some green crab apple, fucking horrible ass shit. And you're like, dude, what are you eating there? Oh yeah.
All right, Nick
Stomach
T. So where can our listeners, find some stuff from you? Do you have websites? Where can they find your products? What do you guys want to do for a shout out for Essential or for your crew?
Oh, for us? Yeah, you can check us out on the web, essentialextracts.co. You can also check us out on Facebook at Essential Extracts. Instagram, Essential Extracts LLC. Instagram, we show us some love on Instagram. They just keep looting our accounts. Essential Extracts LLC on Instagram. Twitter, we're Extract Artists. You can definitely find us in a plethora of shops throughout Colorado on the medical and recreational side. Our home base is the Herbal Cure, 985 South Logan Street. We drop a lot of product there. I got a lot of my streams over there. They got the Herbal Cure. And then some of our other favorite clients, they got, Kind Love, 14er in Boulder, The Farm, Trill. There's a lot of them out there. Definitely check out our Instagram for drops. We appreciate all the support over the years. We're just truly blessed to still be here. So good, thanks for having me, you guys.
Oh no, man! Thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. We're happy to be able to get you on for our Solventless / Solvent-free Friday.
There you go. Now you said it right finally.
And Frenchie, where can people reach out to you, man? Where can they find you? Instagram, Twitter, websites. What can they look forward to with the workshop? The whole nine.
The website FrenchyCannoli.com. You really have all the articles I write for Weedward, Skunk, and some wine magazine with all the references, the book, like really what I study and what are of my main passion. Otherwise, IG, I basically tell everybody what I'm doing, and I have a workshop the 28th in Seattle with 2 lectures on the 27th, one for bud tender, trying to educate bud tender on what is really concentrate, like seed concentrate as opposed to extract, and a lecture on the origin of concentrate and a tour of producing country that I usually give before my workshop for the people to really understand what our tradition and how much they made what we are today. And otherwise, I have some more workshop in San Diego and LA coming at the end of the month.
Awesome. And, of course, July 1st and July 2nd here in Denver, SoHi Gallery. More details to follow for the first ever Colorado Frenchy Cannoli ice water sieving workshop, right?
Thank you.
Awesome.
It's going to be awesome.
I was going to slap. I was going to slap him. I was ready. Don't you worry.
Well, guys, thank you both so much for taking some time out of your day to come on and join us and our listeners. We appreciate it. As again, much love for having both of you guys on and taking some time out. So, until next time, we appreciate having you guys on.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
For sure, man.
Thanks, Nick.
See you
Thanks,
soon.
Frenchie.
Got much love.
See you guys.
Peace.
What's up?
Nice. So
That
there
was
you go.
good.
That was
went a
good.
lot
Good
better
job.
than I planned.
Did it?
I
You
did
thought
that
they-
yesterday. Yeah, I'm
Wow.
surprised. But
You were hoping. You were hoping for the same.
Mitch
fight
was like,
we had
dude, I'm not
last
even going to
time.
be on the show. I'm like, okay, well then I'm gonna text Nick in. I'm gonna call Frenchie, and I'll just do a Solventless episode. It'll be easier that way because at least I can chime in because I knew that you were just gonna want to smoke and hang out with these guys. So I'm gonna have to be able to put in some 2 cents and at least ask questions of what I know a little bit about. Can't get butane extract artists on here. I'm shit out of luck on that topic. So. And Tanner's not here, so I can't ask him any questions. Usually that's my thing. Tanner, what is this?
Go-to guy who's gone.
Right,
Yeah,
he's not here. He's
exactly.
not sitting here right now. I can't ask him anything. So
Sure.
pretty much fucked.
Well, but we do have phone home.
But we do, yes, we do.
And Paul.
And you didn't even give them a good introduction.
Josh, show my memory. My stoner memory
Didn't
is so
even
on
give him
point,
an
dude. I
introduction.
feel good. At least if I remembered, I'd be like, dude, you're getting real weird, Adam. You're starting to remember people's names.
So why don't you explain to our listeners who they are and why we have
Why the fuck are they here?
they got them on the show today? 'Cause,
Question.
hold on, let me just say.
Well, I did show the video today of him
you
of you
showed me
throwing the
video.
bong around. I said, well,
That's
this is what this
funny.
guy does, and he was like,
But like
"Yeah."
next time you want to smash one of those up or something, like just send it my way.
All right.
You know, just don't smash it. I'll
No,
just I'll take it.
Yeah, it
I
hurt.
gotta
It
say,
burned him. Did it burn him
I
at the
played
end?
a little bit light on that one. Like we're going back to Seattle in a few days just to rectify that, and
It'll
I'm
be
going to go
fun.
fucking crazy. And
Are you pulling that off like a mega? You're doing like a 5
so.
extra burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to put Gucci signs in our
I thought we were
arms
doing a
and
mother
stuff
show.
like that. With
It was. I mean, it was a cool video. And you,
Anybody who's
everything
not
was
understanding what we're
very-
talking about, basically, my buddy was throwing a
I'll
bong
pull it
around.
up right now. Where can I find it on the internet?
we could go to the best. The best was
Instagram, right?
Yeah, Instagram
Instagram.
would probably be the best way to go.
Okay, so I'll let
Either
him-
myself or Chris Crazy 253, one of those.
Will the
phone
Instagram
homie, or is
will the
it-
Instagram play the entire video? Because now they allow
Yeah,
45
that shit's
minutes,
about a
45
minute
second
long.
video.
They got everything in there.
They got most of it.
And what's
Yeah.
what's your guys' Instagram account?
Just go to @phonehomie A. Excuse me, I was going to say A as for at.
Ad is for ad.
PHONEHOMIE.
Gotcha. If our slow computers want it, but we're going to try to
It'll
pull up
take
the video
to
so
the
you
end
guys
of
can
It's
see
gonna take
it.
to the
For
whole
sure.
end, like
It'll take
Yeah.
20 minutes. or so.
That was a great game. That was introduced to me by Chris Crazy out there in Seattle. And if you guys don't know him, like he is a rapper, artist, terp slut. There's so many different names for him, but I mean, honestly, we're two brothers on parallel sides of the United States. He's in Tacoma, Washington State, and I'm in Tacoma, Washington D.C. And we get together and we do things that just normally
That's kinda
people
weird.
wouldn't do. I don't know. It is very weird. We have a lot of commonalities. You keep scrolling up, yeah.
That's weird.
But it just the wildness gets crazy.
And where'd you guys meet?
We met over at
Right
the
around
Secret
here.
Cup in
Slow,
Vegas,
slow.
the finals.
It's gonna be right
I'm
around
gonna
here.
sip on this while the temp is still
Keep
hot.
going. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. This is
I'm
before
loving
the
it.
secret cup.
All right. So we said it was coming up like 4
Which-
hours. You're that guy.
I'm
You're that
like-
guy when
I'm
you're.
like-
You're the guy when you're
Yeah,
driving.
keep
You're like,
going,
yeah,
yeah.
keep cut.
Yeah,
Wait,
keep
slow.
going, keep going.
Rich,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
are
two
gonna
blocks,
talk
yeah,
about
two more blocks.
There it is. Right
Okay,
there on the
yeah,
right.
yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
So here's
Is that all you got? Is
the video we were
139
talking
likes?
about. Yeah, no,
Jesus.
that's crazy.
I know.
man.
I'm lagging.
I thought you would have a lot more because I was like, dude, this is crazy.
Chris Crazy
shit.
has like 24,000, and he really kills it. I slowly am working up to that.
Okay.
There's Franco.
So this is where is this at?
Northwest Cannabis Club.
All right. So that was throw number 1.
Yeah.
More terps. We need more terps
It's
required.
kind of
You
hard
need-
because
yeah, you
when
need
you're
to-
videoing, you gotta like keep it hot and everything.
Oh,
like
I know
that.
it's not easy.
You know,
crazy.
there's possibilities of the quad banger like sliding right out and smashing everywhere.
100%. But I was
Burns.
impressed beyond belief.
And you know, we had a dude over there, 420 culture guy. He he was basically 420.
Ooh, that was a good one right there.
He was taking pictures, and the still pictures are dope because you see like all those spectacles.
What happened? It spilled there? Did it spill?
Fuck it.
Did it spill on him?
Yeah. Chris always premature breaks the rig, even when he doesn't have to. I noticed that
he didn't have to. No. He caught it.
It could have still.
He loves the throw.
Yeah. But I think in an Instagram video, you kind of got to get to the climax as quick as possible, and Chris Crazy brings it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the new trend everyone's going to do with motherships now.
It's that, I got to say, the past few trends.
If you did that to somebody's mothership, it would be over, dude. There'd be like Secret Service guys outside ready to take you away. Be like, "You killed my mothership, Daddy.
You're dead.
Daddy, he killed the mothership. He threw it on the ground."
We should just purposely do it now, just for
4
that
dudes
reason.
at the edge.
I told you to do this. We should do that.
Yeah. Don't ever do it to somebody that you don't know. I had a friend, Black Fly sunglasses. Remember that sunglass company? His whole gig was that he would go up to anybody wearing any other brand, and he'd be like, "Hey, can I see that? What are you wearing?" And he'd just take it, fucking just destroy it, and then he would hand him like 2 pairs of his that were like, maybe they were worth as much to some idiot who bought them on the streets, but for him it was like $4. You know what I mean? He was like, here's $8. You know what I mean? I just smashed your Gucci's, and I feel so good. You know what I mean? But he didn't do any of it on video because this was a long time ago. And he probably did some on video, but not on YouTube. And
I gotta say, I love really.
It's not the greatest way to go into business
stuff. I love having. Being
he does too. This guy and that dog are gonna get silly right now. It's gonna get crazy right now.
Somebody turn on the Barry Manilow.
He's already like, I own you. I own you.
Just showed up.
So we have to stop and because I fucked up, dude.
What's no fucking up?
We didn't do our sponsors today, so we need to take care of that right now, just to make sure that
I will do one. I will do it once, and you're gonna add it in.
Denver, I love you.
Yeah.
You have fucking beautiful, amazing terps and
golden.
I'm stuck here.
How do we not do the sponsors? Because Mitch is not here.
Everyone's just talking, and Mitch isn't here.
You were supposed to be in charge of the show.
I am, but I'm not used to the sponsors.
First of all, I'm blaming you. Second of all, lead in on the sponsorship, and I will continue.
Big shout to Way to Grow.
There you go.
Our number one sponsor.
They can't say that. See, this is the problem. Every time I do this,
our number one grow shop
can't do that. Can't say that either.
Why the fuck not, dude?
Because Mitch says I'm not allowed to do any of that shit. So
that's ridiculous.
Every time I say
Way to Grow, they've been on with us from.
Find out what. No, can't say that either.
They've been on from the beginning, man.
Can't say that either.
I just did.
Nope, we broke every rule.
I just fucking did, bro.
Moment. I can't believe it. These
guys
roll in. You break every rule. They break bongs. I see a fucking.
They have a whole bunch of different stores.
You kids.
Obviously, just here in Colorado.
No, you're
Boulder,
terrible.
Central Denver.
How many are there?
Colorado Springs.
7. There's
Denver.
There's 7 right
Fort
now.
Collins.
Silverthorne, latest
Lakewood,
shop.
and Silverthorne.
Damn, those are terrible. Shop. You looked at it. You couldn't just say it.
And Silverthorne.
Come on. Silverthorne's up in the mountains, right? So that's good when it's fucking crappy out, which is never again, hopefully, because I hope this is the last fucking... Yes. Yesterday, it's been nice today.
We came in and the weather was beautiful.
Beautiful, really.
Yeah, you're lucky.
It's colder where we are.
We're lucky because it has been horrible.
Go to Way to Grow.
What's special?
It doesn't say on their website anymore.
Well, they have a special for us if you ever go in.
Adam Dunn Show.
Adam Dunn Show, of course.
Adam Dunn Show counts.
And right now they were doing the special with the blue Hortilux bulbs for $149. If you said blue ADS. And they had another special if you wanted to get the Phantoms, and it was a $315, and normally it was $450, but now it was only $350. It might be $359. You might get the $9.
You say Adam Dunn Show on top
Adam
of
Dunn Show. Of course, you say Adam Dunn Show. That's what the fucking you say that at the gas station. You say that everywhere you walk. Hey, Adam Dunn Show. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So the Way to Grow special this month is going to be
the Phantom.
No.
What? They have a new special.
They have the Phantoms on there, but you can also get the Hortilux Blue 1000 watts.
I just said that.
Did you say the Hortilux?
I did.
You did?
Didn't I? Hortilux Blue 1000 watt.
ADS Blue, you did.
$149. $149.
ADS Phantom.
$149 instead of $249.
They must mention the promo code. And they're for pickup only. You can't get these delivered. No. You have to go to one of the stores.
No, you must walk in and actually be a human. I hate all these people who forget about going to stores. Stores is where it's at.
Yeah, some of the basic...
don't buy online stupid shit you can't just walk down the street and buy. It's wasting time and energy.
Speaking of things you can't buy online, but you definitely can buy here in Colorado.
Oh, there you go, segue.
My favorite.
Segue.
Incredible
edibles.
We love them.
Oh, here's the deal. 5280 Club. You ready to join it?
What's the 5280 Club?
5280 is 5,280 milligrams of fucking some hardcore.
I want that.
5,280 milligrams?
Yeah. And I can get it all done with Incredibles. I can have that. I can have an episode. I already talked to Nick. I already talked to D about it. He said he could do the chocolate. You said you could eat 30 actual. He said he could eat 30 hearts of chocolate when Valentine's Day was there, and we didn't do it because we're lame. We didn't really have a studio at the time. So now I feel like we should do it with.
Wait, what did I say I could do?
30 stacks of fucking.
But not medicated, right? I just said I could eat a shit ton of.
So the candy part is not a problem because that's what everyone's worried about.
And we've seen the medicated.
Nobody's worried about that. No one's worried about the weed. No one's worried about the weed.
Actually, the candy getting. Oh, you're gonna.
Everyone's
your body's
worried.
Gonna refuse it.
Everybody's like, he's gonna get diabetes. He's gonna die. And I'm like, no, this is Incredibles. He won't have to eat so much because
it's all gluten free and all that. Good
not
stuff.
only that, but they have 500 milligram bars, so we don't have to eat like 1,000,000 bars. You only have to eat.
How many milligrams I need to eat?
10.5 bars. 12 bars total. That's not such a big deal.
Listen.
12 bars. You can do that.
I can't. They make really strong bars, man. Honestly,
no, they will be strong, and you will be.
They're three. I will stand by the fact that I will eat a stack of candy bars. But
I know.
They're even they're 250 milligrams.
Doesn't matter. It's cannabis, and no one's ever died. No one's ever died.
You melt them down.
You're gonna prove it. You're gonna prove this when your heart is like.
It scares me, man. It's terrifying. I'm not taking that much.
You're gonna feel like
what?
You're gonna die.
But if I already announced the show,
you've announced this already.
Hey, I'll step.
Incredibles is all fucking excited.
If you already announced it, then let's do it.
We're doing it. All right.
This will be good content.
This will be awesome.
I'll be
both of us can.
I could do two of you. I could get two of you guys to do it, and then it would be like.
Then I'm down. Like, yeah, if he comes. If he comes on, we can eat him together. And
you could virtually do it online. I could send them to you.
One thing I'm just
I would never do that.
About is just
I would never ever do that.
Roll it up, man. It's a lot of chocolate.
You take them with you fucking bastard.
You melt them down, just real low temp. Melt them all down, and put them in the cup, and just
put it over some ice cream or something, man. Yeah, just like.
All right, back to Incredibles.
Anyway, if you want to get some really good Incredibles,
Incredipen is the fucking shit.
The new Incredipens are fantastic. They're very
terpene. Get that kind of love, I know for sure.
If you want a pen that tastes like shatter, like tastes like, that's it. That's
Incredipen.
It's fantastic.
They have great concentrates for
from Incredible Extracts. They have their black.
And he normally says all the things, but it's way too many, so we can't do it.
Honestly, I love their
he can't. He's joining the club. 5280.
They have a lot of
bars.
What's
half of 5280 KTI? Quick.
They have a lot of bars.
Half of that. What's half of that? He's going to become a half.
Upwards of.
He's
13.
like a half mile club. He gave himself a fucking hand job on the.
Oh no! We both need 5280. I don't want half, and he wants half. No, we each need full strength. 5280.
Oh, we might
not split.
This might be
you guys for this contest.
Oh no, Thunderdome. We're talking now.
I don't even know it's a contest. I thought
it's not a contest. Just like
stuff.
Yeah, we're just saying.
No, it's Thunder.
It's so that I don't have to be on this ride by myself.
No, yeah, we're strapping you up and shit. You guys gonna fight?
I don't want to be on that.
Bring it.
Can we get the big? We have to wait until about an hour and a half in with big sumo suits.
Okay. And then, no, that is not happening.
That's the way to go.
We're gonna throw up.
You will be so.
Is this gonna be like the time I said I'd crash my motorcycle on air and that didn't happen either?
I probably.
Anyway, Incredibles. They have over 12 to 13 different bars now, ranging from
pistachio is the fucking.
I'm taking a trip after this.
Now with the new pistachio,
check that out, man.
The black cherry CBD. All these crazy
new flavors are
crazy flavors, including the.
That's why I want to get him on the show so we can eat all those like in normal amounts while we watch you go ridiculous. Just but you got to eat them. I figured you have to start eating them like 5 hours before the show, so by the time the show kicks in, everyone experiences you already.
Well,
like head over the shoulder.
I have a video of you
and I'll be like shoving.
I will not share at all. DTF-O.
And that's
the fuck out.
We do too. Yeah, of me and San Bernardino that we've played multiple times.
That's been played like 300 times.
I woke up from.
That was only like 300 milligrams. I was going
it was shit.
Please,
how many was it?
This video.
I did last Beast Scope that we did. It was in Maine. I did 1,800 milligram bacon weave. That was amazing. Now I couldn't eat the whole thing in one sitting.
Was it medicated bacon weave?
1,800 milligram medicated, and it was cinnamon toast crunch sugar, and then some maple syrup. Or like the dudes that made it were professional bacon drippers or drainers.
Is there a professional bacon dripper? Jesus Christ!
I didn't even know there was an.
What is that?
Yeah, they
That's
they
ridiculous.
know how to drip the fat perfectly off the bacon so that there's like it's at a.
It's very.
That's pathetic. That's pathetic. If that's your
meat, you
how bad is that?
Be careful with meat, you know.
Hey, be
so you don't want that thing to be
there.
too soggy. You need it to be a nice crispy, but not too crispy. Right. And then it has to have some sort of play because it's a bacon.
Even if we're allowed to talk about meat on the show. Actually.
Gotcha.
No meat. Sorry.
No bacon. All right.
No. It's okay.
And shouts to Growstone. They're one of the newer sponsors.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, great for the sponsors. Yeah, you're doing a good job.
I'm on point with it. I'm remembering.
You are so.
This is the only one I remember. So if you have more,
why we got new beers because I needed a beer. to make more grow stones, because did you know that grow stones are made out of beer?
I did not.
Well, not beer, but they're made out of beer bottles.
Beer bottles.
The beer would be terrible as a way to aerate your soil. I'm aerating my soil with beer. Bad idea. But when it's actually the bottle and has been turned into a grow stone, the shit is amazing.
So everything from fungus gnat control to cocoa mixes, hydroponic,
I think like 6 different mixes total.
Yeah, they have so much different stuff. I personally
have humongous rocks like that.
Have used the Natnix. I love the Natnix.
Heavy root stream.
It really helps.
You want big. I mean, you don't want when they're too small. It's just like sand. You know, we don't grow in sand. No, we like it aerated.
So go check them out. Growstone.
And they helped us out, and they were killing it during the ADZ for us.
Yep.
They were here representing hard.
Oh yeah.
And we love Growstone.
We love Growstone. I mean,
I gotta do like Joe Rogan. We love Growstone. Woo! Yeah, I do that. I gotta sing every single thing and make something stupid.
Again, though,
he swears, so it's cool. I can swear too.
I really
Growstone. Fuck you, fucking Growstone.
I love the Natnix, man.
You buy this fucking Growstone, I'll kick you in the fucking head.
See, there you go. Now I would buy it actually.
You just bought 5.
Totally buying it now. And not to mention, on the complete, where is he going to do it? Is he going to do it?
Is that it?
The drum roll of the keyboard.
No.
That's the only other one I know.
That is not even a sponsor. What are you talking about? They have not officially
sponsored.
What? The place you fucking work at, you fucking meathead? Where the fuck?
They're not,
you want that I should get the information up on the screen?
Sure?
They best be.
I don't know about that.
Oh, they're off our list.
Yeah,
they might
God,
be
there's so many. God, we've added on so many sponsors
Veg and
since
Bloom.
I've actually
Veg and Bloom. Hey.
Big shout to our friend Jeremy Silva.
And Jeremy, don't forget Build the Soil.
If you need absolutely anything
amendment-wise,
I
do need a whole. Actually, I think I even sent him an email. I'm gonna check my emails and see if he got back to me, because he usually gets back real quick, because he's that guy who's got. But this is that time of year where I'm like,
he's busy,
pretty busy guy.
So they offer bulk shipping. You can pretty much call and talk to Jeremy right on the phone.
You can make your own custom blend and be like, dude, I need 10,000 bags of that tomorrow. And he'd be like, well, maybe not tomorrow, but I will get it to you as soon as possible, because he's that guy, and he'd probably start working on it at that moment. And they got all these awesome new products in-house. They got.
Can we get these over in Washington, D.C.?
Yes, he'll send it anywhere. That's what it. Boom, tomorrow, overnight. And
go
really
check
good
out
shit like
blog.
dried aloe and dried coconut. That's one of our favorites, because like when you people don't realize this, but when you spray your plants, even if it's something that's approved or whatever bullshit, you still got to wash it off after, because when you just let it sit there, that's when it gets bad, because all of a sudden it's like, oh well, now the light can't get through because there's this layer of bullshit. It did all its work in fucking 30 seconds.
And he doesn't just bullshit either. He uses all these products.
And then after, but if you let it sit there for 12 hours and then you washed it off, all of a sudden you see the plant come back to life. Woo, it's all happy. And that aloe, it's like coconut and aloe. Coconut and aloe are two things that you're like, you want to just it's like you're like, this is awesome.
I've
drink
been
all the
aloe over my body since I was a little one. So.
Right. So you'd be like, oh, I definitely don't mind spilling a little aloe on myself compared to like some other shit. You're just like, what the hell? So Build the Soil.
BuildTheSoil.com.
Go grab it.
Check
Get
it out.
your stuff. And then we also got, of course, you always forget. Don't forget Seeds Here Now. Seeds Here Now. Seeds Here Now. Seeds Here Now. We got to say it 3 times.
Aloe plays a good hand in cloning, doesn't it? When you want to kind of get those roots.
It's literally like straight out of the plant. Probably one of the best things for all sorts of it's kind of one of those and coconut water too, because coconuts, we got to mention, it's a giant nut, which is actually a giant seed, which is pretty much like all the things the plant needs to go are in that thing with a bunch of water that's enough for you to drink. So obviously a fucking plant, and then they dehydrate that shit, and then you can just add water to it, and then all of a sudden you're like, you can like literally plants yourself. Oh, you can like think about it for a second. You're like, maybe I'll. Little bit. I'm kind of thirsty. And then you actually give it to the plants, So, and then
now.
How many strains they got? Fucking hundreds.
Oh my god.
So many. Crockett Farms, Top Dog,
TNG,
TH Seeds, Best Coast Genetics, Snow High Seeds, Built, DJ Short. They have. If you need seeds and you need them now, this is where you're gonna go.
Where you go? Seeds Here Now.
Seeds Here.
They have Gas Genetics, Homegrown Natural Wonders. You can pick up some of that Doctor Who from Homegrown Natural Wonders. I love that strain. La Plata Labs. I've been looking for that flubber
in the studio last week.
Loud Seeds, Mosca Seeds. Again, more than we can sit here and name. Sunny Chiba. We could sit here all day.
What strains are coming out of Loud right
I don't know.
Loud ones.
Loud ones, huh?
Yeah.
We'll have to call. Maybe get them on the line next couple weeks and see what
Seedsherenow.com. 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 And I believe that does that do it? Does that round it off?
Sorta. Don't forget SoHi Gallery.
SoHi Gallery. Is there a website for SoHi?
I don't know. Maybe.
Let's
probably
check
not.
right
Probably
now.
not because I own it and I don't freaking know if I built one. So usually what I don't know, there's SoHi Campground. That doesn't sound right. That's scary. SoHi Fitness, but you know SoHi Fitness. Okay, so SoHi Fitness, there's gallery grand opening live stream with.
We do have one more.
What are you doing now? Oh, Veg and Bloom. You forgot about them.
Sir.
Jesus Christ.
Hydroponic Research. Hydroponic-research.
I found out that I might be missing a product along the line too, which I know. Now I know.
Yeah, you might be missing a product. What product?
The Shine. I never got the Shine.
The Shine.
See, I got shined on, so that meant the issue of why I was wondering why the fucking thing. I was like, well, it didn't really yield what I thought it was going to yield. It did all right, but it was like, eh.
So they have the base.
Now
line,
I know I need that.
The plant probiotic line, the foliar stimulants, and then
the
here you go.
Bloom additive.
Your Shine. I've loved the Veg Bloom. I've used the entire line. They have.
Now I understand.
It's very effective, and the Plus Life and the Plus Size. Essentially every single thing that they have. The only one I haven't used is the Push, so the foliar. But it's really easy to use. It's pretty much just a 1-part powder with a couple little additives.
That Push product is really nice.
Is it? I have not tried it, so they're foliar, and it seems to be pretty simple. It looks to be very concentrated, so you don't need very much of it if I had to judge. And then
foliars are the way to go anyway. If you're, when in doubt, get your atomizer out and start foliaring, and then you're like, yeah. It's just like.
But again, check them out for the Veg Bloom nutrients at hydroponic-research.com.
Don't forget the hyphen.
Don't forget the hyphen. You'll go to the wrong site.
We're still getting all acclimated to this over on the East Coast. I'm coming in from Washington, D.C., and we just got legalization, I would say, just a little over a year ago, maybe.
Right.
And, so there's so many things out there on the market, and I personally am just, trying to journey as much towards as, what would be the most natural thing we could possibly do without, upsetting what.
Well, I think the key is cut down all your apple trees and start growing weed. Pretty much, that's it. Done deal. That's the best idea. Yeah, great idea.
It's the only option.
Destroy all of the apple trees. Cut them down. Be like, this is what Washington would have done, man. He would have cut down the apple trees.
I wonder if that cherry pie that they were
talking about. If you combine all the fathers, if you combine all the founding fathers, that would have been what the play would be. It'd be like, you got too many apple trees. Yeah. Oh. You need to grow more hemp. And then all of a sudden, hey, what happened to my trees? He'd be like, I'm growing hemp now. And then there you go. Show's over. Yes. And then everybody in D.C. will be scared.
Yeah, it's
Don't
crazy
cut down the apple tree, mate.
Right now, this is the time of it's coming of age. Everyone's like really, the events are coming into play. We just had the first Secret Cup in D.C. Now we're having, just a week later, we'll have the second D.C. Growers Cup. And that's going to be technically the second oil competition alongside flower competition inside of our nation's district. So people are really starting to search out there and try to look a little bit beyond the grow shops and everything to find out, to really be in the know, because they want to come back with fire. They want to come back and win competitions. They want to come back and have really good medicine. And the big question looms, when are we going to be able to take this grow and, sell it or bring it to a dispensary?
Right. Well, I mean, isn't it crazy that D.C. is so, it's in the heart of it all. Everything's federal land. Doesn't matter if you go, walk over there, it's federal. It's federal. I mean, you can't even imagine that they could operate legally in a sort of climate like that for so long, in a way, because it was already, medical for a long time, too. Right? It wasn't even, and now it's just
Be like saying in Vegas you can't smoke around casinos. Yeah. Well, then how the fuck can I have legal weed? I can't smoke around casinos.
Well, I mean, the difference is when you got a bunch of fucking douchebags that are Homeland Security.
Or some of the most uniforms of police out there.
That's the crazy part is when I go see my friend there, we're driving in his car, and I'll be like, every other car is a federal cop, some stupid kind of cop, and you're just like, how many can there be?
See, but here's the thing, though. Can they just hit you like a Can anybody who has a badge like that,
I
they
think
can't just
there's some
fucking
sort
pull
of
you over for
jurisdiction.
running a
There's definitely
fucking
some
red
sort of
light,
jurisdiction
right?
of who can do
Smoking
what.
a bowl.
They have to get from A to B and whatever, but
yeah, you like for example,
but it's
I don't think,
impossible for you as a guy who's just looking at lights. All you're looking at, rack
yeah,
of
like
lights.
the park, I don't think the park police can pull you over for a ticket unless you were in the park jurisdiction. Exactly.
Do you see the president a lot?
Oh yeah, all the time. Like
every day.
I toss joints over his fence every time and avoid getting tackled. So I think we're fine.
Oh really?
No, seriously, no, on a real level, I've never seen Obama physically yet.
Have you seen like cars that he's in?
Of course,
we've seen cars.
Always see. I will say this. A few years back, I lived in an apartment on a certain block, and there was a huge police procession. Everybody, like, just tons and tons of different police lining up, and to the point where I was starting to see like sniper type police or whatever they were, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm rolling a blunt in my apartment. I'm like, fuck, this can't be for this. I know this can't be for this. It's too much tension. And then George Bush hops out. George Bush Jr. hops out, and he was there happened to be a YMCA that he was doing a speech at, and I'm just sitting there thinking like, wow, this is so crazy. Like, I'm smoking a blunt like less than 50 feet away from the
sniper.
president. Yeah, from my window. And I'm like, wait a minute, snipers! Let me get the fuck out of this window and let me put some clothes on.
Right? Yeah, that's that's
the thing there. It's like it can go from 0 to fucking 100 in 5 seconds. You know what I mean? I was like,
one block apart. Right?
I mean, you're a really quick story.
You're at a good block.
All right, quick story.
Quick. We were just at we had Secret Cup Award show.
No,
and
that's a secret. You're not supposed to tell anybody. Jesus Christ.
Well, the police show up.
They did show up.
Yeah, they did show up.
We were just saying how I don't know how.
We had everything there, and people were dabbing out. They just walked in. They didn't even give a fuck. They just wanted people to make sure that they got out.
They were concerned about us selling
parking.
alcohol.
No, they were more also concerned about the parking because neighbors were complaining.
And where was it, though? Was it City Hall or no?
No, it was in D.C. It was
your
private residence.
The one there.
It was a private venue.
It was a private venue at a warehouse.
Oh, yeah.
Solvent.
No, I'm sorry. Not Secret Sesh.
Secret Cup.
The Secret Cup.
So many secrets. I can't keep up with all your secrets, you little fucker.
There's so many secrets, right?
You goddamn
nobody wants to share
gossip queens.
But it was just crazy. I mean, literally, you would think that you see 30 police come into this venue and you'd be flipping out, but they didn't give a shit about anything at all with smoking.
The weed. Yeah,
nothing.
As long as everybody was safe, and parking was good.
They just wanted to close it down, make sure.
And they didn't want paperwork, is what they didn't want. They were like,
it was just amazing. It was to me
because back in the day they could definitely do it, but now they're like, probably about 10 of them will be medical, and they'll be in wheelchairs, and we'll be on the news. And, so they're. And that's the thing is, it's kind of like gotten to the point where. On the places that you think it never would happen, it happens even weirder than the places that you know because they're like, well, we can't
this is
touch
federal
this.
property,
Right.
Right.
We
can't. Crazy.
I did get a chance, along with quite a few others. I personally got to take a donkey ball slab on federal property in front of the White House at 420, and we had people smoking. Yeah, everybody in this room was there.
Yeah, we were there. We sat down.
We had the slab and smoke right on federal property, and actually Obama was not in that house that day. We found out later on that he was playing golf. I guess he was trying to avoid the attention, but we definitely turped it up.
Literally, tell them we sat down in a circle. Yeah. They didn't show this on any of the big news networks, but there was 4 or 5 of us literally sitting down in a circle, and we passed the rig and we fired up the torch, and we had a serious sesh. We went around 4 or 5 times. And it was just crazy in the middle of the street.
And you were throwing bombs around, acting like a fool.
We threw a couple rigs on the ground.
To be very honest with you, I did the opposite because I was the whole movement, the whole moment kind of like really was awe-inspiring. I was like, you know what, fuck this. I'm going to go around. I'm going to start picking up garbage that any of the stoners were throwing out, and just hopefully other people will pick up on this. And we did. We went around. We picked up as much. And then I was actually wearing this actual shirt. You said America is fucked, and we had a lot of the Secret Service police say, "Hey America, hey fucking America, good job." Yeah, no, I like to see that, so they were happy that we cleaned up, and I think it's very important to kind of spread along the whole country and even around the world, be responsible in what you're doing because it really shows. Be
throw your bongs around, act like an idiot.
It's ironic.
And then on the opposite side,
there's a spectrum.
It's ironic. It's funny because they were having the same thing happen today. They were doing the same exact thing. They were having a smoke out at the White
520.
House. But here's what happened: they had a shooter. So they canceled the entire event.
What do you mean they had a shooter?
Some sort of threat.
By the White House.
That's crazy.
They canceled the event.
Yeah, it's probably because
they
have those all the time.
It's probably because Trump's so close to being in there. They're just
they're waiting.
Trying to
they're getting all set up. I'll get the best target. I got to be the first one in.
Right here.
He's going to build a wall, but you know what? All the citizens of Washington D.C. are paying for it. It's ridiculous. So
let's get political.
Speaking of secrets and all the beautiful secrets,
that's what I hate about D.C. Whenever I go there, I'm always like, fucking the politicians are like the rock stars around here. This is terrible. I don't know anybody's names. It was like, dude, did you see McGillicuddy, Robin? I'm like, who the fuck's that? Oh, that's the senator. Blah,
he just
blah,
dropped $5 billion in the city.
I could give 5 fuck.
No, you gotta go to all the cool museums
everybody thinks
in
they're all
Washington
cool.
D.C. Washington D.C.'s got.
You have a good friend though,
museums.
Adam Eidinger, which I'm sure you know, because
100%.
he's like
the main reason why we're all at the White House to begin with.
Exactly, and he's the main. He's that guy.
The ringleader of it all, right? He really rallied the troops and he got us all out there. Like he inspired me to honestly, I'd never touch politics until I met this man. So
yeah, he's an awesome guy. He's
good guy. Normal DC.
He would come to Amsterdam all the time, and then when I was back, the only times that I went to DC, I'd stay at his house, and I was like driving in his hemp van, and I was like, all right, at least I'm seeing it from this side. I'm not coming here because I was looking around like, man, this place blows. Like everywhere I went around, I was like, this is terrible. But he knew the cool spots, and then. We had, we got the guys from Thievery, so of course we got if you're going to be in DC, that's where you want to be at the party where they're at. So it was kind of like it had to, we got the good side of it too.
I went to a party over at their
Gucci.
Yeah, I love Gucci.
Gucci.
I went over to a mansion that Thievery Corporation owns. Right, it might be their home/studio.
Right,
and we were having a sort of party there where we were enjoying all the benefits of 420 and 710, and everywhere on the wall, that's all you saw was Obama. And Thievery Corporation. I was like, something, these things are clicking right now. Something's happening. So yeah, it's very interesting who the players are when you come to the city to see who's involved in what. And I guarantee you that, Obama, has definitely heard quite a lot of things that are going on. He might even watch the slab hour.
I bet you he has. I wouldn't doubt it.
How was the Secret Cup yesterday? Or the Secret Sesh? Secret Sesh.
Well, literally the roof. It was off the roof.
It was amazing. I'm going to tell you.
There was no roof.
It was amazing. They opened up the roof.
They opened the roof.
Can I say something? I want to give a shout out to them real quick. I definitely want to give them a shout out because I've done a couple other events and they really were well organized and they were very accommodating. 100%. So a big shout out to Secret Sesh and Adam did a great job.
Tight ship there.
Really
nice.
Different Adam, of course. I always do a great job, but different Adam.
But good big shout out to Secret Sesh.
Expensive as fuck to go to one of those things. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Oh, is it? It's very expensive.
To even have a
booth. Like, is it? I'm one of those guys. I'm a hanger-oner. I'm a hanger-oner guy.
You don't want to know our whole sponsor. That's a whole other story.
Whoop, zip, zap. So much money.
But it makes it worth it. I mean, because it seems to. I mean, the things that we put in there, like they went to the people, and I guess I've really loved to see the people's face when they pull the stuff out of the bag and everything like that. Like it's definitely. It's a great place. Like everything you need is covered under one sort of roof.
Absolutely. It's very heady oil, very heady glass. I mean, it's the people that are in the know of the hash industry, I would have to say. I mean, it's very private. It's not everybody knows where it is. It's pretty. Who is it?
It's fun coming from the East Coast too. Rocking it out. Definitely. It's because you see that vibe and you're like, okay, cool. And we got a few people that were interested in what we were doing.
Absolutely.
You don't see that too often.
It was definitely really a fun event.
Good. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, we heard good things about it. A lot of people were attending. How many people do you think were there?
They had 1,000. It was 1,000 person.
It was 3 or 4 floors, so it was nicely spread out.
It was a maximum of 1,000, and they sold out. Yeah. I can tell you that for sure.
They definitely sold out. Yeah. So, for sure.
I mean, I'm going to say real quick. It was butternut cookies, phone homie, dab divas. We were in the house representing DC.
Yeah.
So that's what's up.
Nice.
The whole DMV.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. What were some of the cooler things that happened in the evening? Were there fun events or
slabs? I'm sorry, and slabs. There were turps
slabs, tons of slabs and turps.
Was there a few slabs there?
Yeah, no,
you could get a contact high being there.
I had a few double cups of slabs and terps, and then actually for me, I went a little bit crazy on the whole edible thing. And I don't usually do a lot of edibles, but they had this big fruit salad with drizzled candied bacon bits, and then drizzled chocolate, and I had that plus a Danish donut with custard in it. Plus, they were doing a double cup with Sprite and syrup. But I don't really like the Sprite thing, so I just did 4 to 6 shots of just the syrup. Yeah,
and he was done.
He was trying to get me. I knew it.
Done. No, this was where he was stabbed the fuck out. And I have video, and I will show it sometime. Yeah. I got you, brother. Don't worry. I got you, phone homie.
What is this whole thing about DTF-O? Everyone loves getting us. So like, when you, like,
well, no, the best part about it I like is that it shows the difference between stoners and drunks. Like we laugh and we say DTF-O, and look at you. You're not got anything written on your face. You're not all like red today, all because your friends all peed on you and they fucking took photos of it slapping you with their dicks and you're like, why would you do that to me? You know what I mean? Stoners are just like, look, he's high and he's stoned, and then they take a photo and they're like, woo.
I still get angry though. I still get angry because like in those moments where you're like trying to really keep
like who raped me? You're like, wait, somebody
just took a picture of me. Where I better not find myself on Instagram in 5 minutes. Snapchat? What?
Yeah, it's gotten to that. Like now, that's the worst thing ever. But before, it was definitely like, you know, getting yourself encased in whatever products were around at that moment, and everyone was like, "Yeah,
I was in the Marines,
stick them to him."
I messed up a few times by getting too drunk in the Corps.
Oh man, you must have been. It's done.
Permanent marker, and I got to go to work the next morning. 04. Yeah,
that's what we're talking about. See, we would never do that.
Where's my fucking Marine Corps buddies now? They'll take a bullet for you, but they'll put a dick on your forehead.
At least all I have is a video of you just going like this.
Yeah, I'm still mad.
On that note, we're probably going to have to wrap it up pretty much.
Yeah,
right?
It's wrap-up time, man.
Getting close.
Thank you,
Dicks on the face. You know, that's how we like to leave everybody with an image of a man with a dick on his face in the Marines.
Good IPAs.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. There you go.
And we got beards too, so with the image with the dick in the hair,
you're not allowed a beard in the military though.
No,
you were all clean shaven.
Why do you think I got such a beard now?
Because you were like, How long were you in the military for?
4 years. I did my 4. That was good enough. Right before 9/11.
That's about as long as you should do it. If you did anymore,
I did May of 2001 to May of 2005. So, did my time. When you leave the Corps, man, you gotta you're shaving twice a day, so that beard comes in handy when you get out.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, we could go on for days about beard.
You guys have very similar beards.
Yeah, I can do the same. I can pull it out. We can pull them all out. Get them all crazy.
Well, no, I've been doing a lot of research on Adam. Actually, I'm just trying to do things what he did in his life parallel, and I'm like, I'm sort of there, you know.
Yeah,
I did T-shirts, and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're moving,
I'm running around, just soaking up stuff. Yeah,
getting there.
So now look where I'm at. Whoa,
look, see, that's it. Grow a beard and
3 years
be like me.
Well, thank you guys for
your radio show.
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, give a hype out your show. Hype
it up.
Yeah,
Talk about the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, worldwide in Washington D.C. and everywhere in the world, Denver, Colorado, Boulder, Colorado. I am at the Slab Hour, WLVSradio.com. That is every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, EST. All right, WLVSradio.com. We do the slab hour. We take big slabs of high octane oil to show you, your grandparents, and your loved ones that we can get really fucking stoned and still live a functional life and be very happy.
Nice.
So I don't know about the functional part, but I like
everything
else.
Terp it up. Terps.
Oh, no, the functionality is...
All right. Don't have to prove your functionality. I know you're a function. You pick up trash, dude. You're the most functional guy I know. Most guys would just be like, yeah, trash, cops, get the fuck out of here. Fuck you, cops. They'd be all mad.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
He's like,
fucking cops.
Fuck you,
I
pig.
still trust myself, so we're good,
Yeah, but you were like on it. You know what's up.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you guys very much for bringing the love.
Thanks. You wanted to shout out.
No, I'm just saying. I'm Josh.
Right?
Follow us on Dab Divas.
You can do a rap.
Instagram?
Can you rap?
Dab Divas with a Z.
Can you rap?
I can't rap, but we do have we have some hot girls on there dabbing, and they really can drop
impressions. We like impressions.
He's your Jolioli
I'm
impression.
Do impressions.
What up, YouTube? That's what's up.
Who's that?
We like to hype him up. We like to hype him up, and it really wasn't a good one.
No,
don't worry.
I wanted him to do that.
YouTube, what's up?
We only had one chance, dude.
Sorry, guys.
Big thanks to our phone-in callers today, Nicotee and Frenchy Cannoli.
Of course.
Nicotee, find them essential extracts and Frenchy Cannoli. Look and FrenchyCannoli.com and look forward to his workshop here in Denver, July 1st and July 2nd.
Shout out Butternut Cookies.
Butternut cookies in the house.
What? You need to get the butternut squash over at the Odyssey, bro. That's the shit you need to go eat. And you'd be like, you can smoke there. I'll tell you where to go.
We're going to ask you about what's good places to eat.
Butternut. Oh, butternut.
I wish it was butternut.
But you can smoke there, dude, so I got you hooked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like that.
So it's like the Chiba Hut, huh?
No, it's way better than Chiba Hut.
No,
it's fucking high-end Italian spot.
It's better than the Chiba Hut. Yeah.
Peace to CC before you kill my...
You're
killing my game.
We got
to do your shout.
Shout out to my beautiful wife CC, who's there with Nick, probably riding him home right now from school. I'll be home soon. Papa be home.
Thanks for listening, guys. Till next week.
All right.
We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. We want you to smoke the natural herb. Some call it marijuana, some call it sensibilia, some call it lamb's bread, and some people call it ganja.